On our way to the latest inflation data here, coming up in about 15 seconds, we're set for January CPI 3.1 expected here for core inflation on the year over year. That would be the lowest print since April of 2021 if it does come in at 3.1% for core. The headline number expected 2.9. 3%, so even lower, just hearing here in on the headline number, 3% here versus 2.9, so a little bit higher than expected on the headline number. To the upside, meanwhile, for core as well, 3.3% versus 3.1% expected. So a lot of people were expecting a downside print, not the case here. A little unexpected upside print, 0.4 on the month-over-month number, also to the upside versus 0.3. So markets a little bit of a downside move there as far as futures are concerned on that. Again, everywhere I was looking this morning, people were expecting this to come in the opposite direction. There's the NASDAQ right now. Wow, what a quick turnaround from where we were at the end of the day yesterday. We'll see how this plays out, whether or not this is just a bit of an overreaction here or whether we get some follow through. Again, if you're just joining a little bit late here, core inflation comes in higher than expected, 0.4% month over month. On the year over year, the main number there, 3.3, 3.1 was expected. That would have been the lowest since April of 2021. If that was the case, not so much. Even the headline number there, 3% versus 2.9.
Yeah, that's a bit of a miss there, especially as you were talking about with the forecast, people thinking that it was going to come below. We got to definitely dig deeper into this, see where the inflation is. Is it still in shelter, insurance, some other areas where it's been sticky? We got to keep an eye on that. But that's a marked move, Brendo, off 21,850 down now into below 600. So a bit of move. The NQ down 1% as a result of this. So this could change the tone for the rest of the day. All four major averages, Brendo, going into the red right now.
The morning that President Trump goes on Twitter and says interest rates are too high and they need to come down. Maybe not so fast for cuts to come here. Remember, day 2 for Powell coming up today as well. We'll see what he has to say about this. I mean, he mentioned yesterday the fact that they're prepared to be super cautious going forward with any kind of cuts. I'll grab the CME Fed Funds tool here and see what the reaction is to this. But a bit of a miss there, guys, right across the board.
Whew. Wow, man. Yeah, didn't see that coming.
I'm long.
So anyways, so a couple of things. Intel prior high yesterday, VWAP right now, retesting it. It just bounced from 21.8 to 22, and it might lose this bid. I don't know if I want to hold it underneath this bid. I'm going to get out if it breaks the quarters. But I was looking over. I am looking over, and the spike down, like Tesla was chilling out. K was rolling over a little bit, but it was chilling out, looking pretty strong, looking like it was going to be a rebound day. It's still up on the day. NVIDIA all the way back into that little dump spot. Oh, NVIDIA looks good too. NVIDIA, yesterday's low was a bit of a wipeout bottom here at 131, and you're about to retest that. The NASDAQ's now 1% to the downside. You got to let it settle. Even SMCI is only up 10% now. But yeah, like we're in Intel because that one just seems to have a bid for no reason. And let's see if we can hold some of this NVIDIA off 131. That's going to be key. Tesla trying to bounce, NVIDIA trying to bounce here. I'm not going to get into SMCI, but we do like that level as well.
Welcome, everybody. All right, I don't know if you saw the positions down there. I'm in the futures right now. It's 50 handles upside. That's going to be a good trade for us, I hope. So anyways, all right, come on, TQQs, let's go. There it is. So we had to buy that dip into $82. Nice move back there to the upside. A good trade there, honestly, so far. This is the NASDAQ. I was just like, we have to try it falling into this level. So 522 right there, we held it. So I just went over there and took it. Now we're having a big, I mean, it does sound like a broken record. I do understand that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Fabian, right there. But you could see what's going on right in here with Apple as well. We're almost $1 in the money now on Apple, and we've taken nothing out here. I'm gonna start to get some out now as it starts to go back up. So I just went over to the leaders of the new school, right? We went with Apple and we went with the NASDAQ. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening. It could still all fall apart right now, but it's already going to be a good day. If we get out now, I feel like Sharif is right. This is set the tone now. for potentially. You know, a little bit of a different day than what we were having. I mean, the NASDAQ was on its way up. I had just written down, I only wrote down 2 names on here, and it was Tesla and SMCI. And yeah, that might have changed right there with that NASDAQ, quite a move in. What did SMCI do though? SMCI was a monster. Back. Yeah, we had a great time yesterday on the after show because Adair and I dropped the news there and it was down 25%, and then immediately right there back up to the upside another 20%. So it moved up and down about 50%. So down 25, back up 20 from covered it all, and now today you're getting up that 10+%. Was up a bit more than that though, man, $44. So as you could see, you see what I'm saying? The market has come all the way back in. So we let Apple basically go 60, 65 cents of the money and didn't take anything out. So we're out of decent part of the futures here, actually only out of half. So let's see if that can hold bid as well. But if we lose that 522 on the Qs, I mean, the market right here coming right back in, not looking great. So I think we have to revisit some of the short ideas maybe that we had.
Well, I like
earlier.
the lift short, but
oh yeah, that's right.
We're not getting lift at $13 now. That's for
what is lift? What did it do?
Lift actually look. Everything went down just now. Obviously, Lift reported last night. Not all bad. They sprinkle. Sometimes you sprinkle a little buyback on it, and it's just not enough. It's just not enough. So the pre-market high looks like it was the area that you could have had it. I'd like continuation from 13 on Lift. I think if that one were to pop, we'd take a shot at it. But look, if we're gonna, oh no, my NVIDIA chart. Yeah, like I have eyeballs on NVIDIA. Like if NVIDIA loses that low from yesterday, that's just a bad dark pool wick. The low is actually 131.
Go.
If we lose 131 in NVIDIA, I feel like that's going to be a harbinger for a little bit of a disaster. And as you mentioned, SMCI, yeah, that just lost VWAP. I was going to take this one at VWAP as well. That was kind of part of the plan, but yeah, not off the number. We'll let this settle down. I mean, SMCI, I like the notion of the recovery bottom on SMCI and the wipeout low, but if we're going to be bleeding like this, we'll just play some patience with SMCI. I'm expecting a lot of volatility out of SMCI today. Just don't want to be catching the falling knife on this particular thing.
Oh, this is definitely a falling knife. We just average a little bit more into the TQs. If this breaks 82, we're going to get out right now. So just nothing there other than just a psychological level. It is making the move down. Okay, so we got some out there, drops in. I mean, it might bounce around here. We're not going to revenge anything right now. It's basically... That trade was pretty flat. We'll wind up down on it because it does break, but pretty good risk management. And then Apple right here, same way. If we take out that 230 level, then we're going to be out of Apple as we'll try to do some baby trades here in the pre-market. So yeah, wow, what a change, man. A couple minutes ago, we were happy with this market bouncing, and now it looks like the NASDAQ down 1 and a bit, ES down 1 and a bit. Is JP Morgan, like, or any of the banks, we looked at JP Morgan yesterday, 275. So I wonder, I'm a little light in the financial spot. So I'm looking to maybe pick something up in JP Morgan if this dips even into some of these lows of last week, to be honest with you, 260 and change. Checking out quickly what's going on with XOM and energy on. I don't think this news will affect energy too much, but yeah, XOM down 0.34 as well. So yeah, the trade rate now is lighting up with, we're going to go back to the desk, but Tesla, SMCI, NVIDIA. So again, man, not a great number. What it comes in at 3.3 there, right? So yeah, the futures are not liking that number there. Core CPI there, 3.3 versus 3.1, sending this market down in the dumps there, boys. So I don't know if there's anything else coming across your board, Brendan and Sharif, but so far, not so good.
Speaking through here for the overall market, again, that 3.1, if it was 3.1, would have been the lowest print since April of 2021. On the headline number, it comes in the exact opposite direction there. As Sean was just saying, 3.3% for core for the month of January, 0.4 there versus 0.3 to the upside expected. The headline number, meanwhile, 3%. Everyone expecting 2.9% on the headline number. We went out to grab this. Remember going back to the last time we were discussing, I guess it was non-farm payrolls. We looked at this a week ago where we had everything pointing towards June for the first cut this year. That's gone out to now July. So you can see July more favoring that quarter point down tick. So we'll see, I mean, how this plays out. I would have thought it would have been a bigger reaction there, but shifted 1 month, I guess, over.
And I was listening this morning on Squawk Box. They had an economist from Citi who was saying her position or her company's position was 1.25% by the end of the year. Yeah. I think you really need to rethink that because the prints are coming in a little bit higher. We've already seen the Fed kind of put their foot down, want to establish their independence with Donald Trump coming in and not making overtures, obviously, to Jerome Powell about cutting rates. I think this is definitely going to give him some support for his argument that we need to leave rates higher for longer. But I feel like this is 2023 earlier all over again, Brendo, with that statement higher for longer. No, but this has a marked effect. Again, we really need to dive deep, see exactly where the inflation is remaining sticky before we make any suggestions or make any decisions. Yeah,
I was just trying to find if there was any kind of breakdown of that. But I mean, like we said, even this morning he was on Twitter saying rates need to be cut immediately.
Again?
And they're far too high. But inflation just not saying the same things here. The market, again, trying to bounce, failed at 522 there for the NASDAQ. Just keep my eye out, guys, for any other data points coming through as far as the CPI print is concerned. Price in less Fed easing after the CPI. Yeah, traders pricing in less. Yeah, so Fed fund futures also showing the same as what we were just talking about. They're going out to July instead of June, which overall is not, I guess, the end of the world as far as what everyone was expecting. There were a few names that were higher on the morning, coming off a much better than expected report. Upstart here, huge red candle there, back to the downside. I was keeping an eye on this one, high flyer from yesterday. Firefly doesn't care about inflation as it shouldn't, as we saw yesterday. Just an absolute monstrous run. I think it was 230%. At the highs, something in that neighborhood, comes off a little bit into the close.
Short this at your own risk, because I was watching during the How to Trade show during the midday yesterday, and shorts were getting squeezed, and it looks like they're getting squeezed again this morning. We're already up 22 some odd percent. You bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be looking at this during the How to Trade show during the midday. And yesterday it was a good one to me. It was strong. It was predictable off key levels, Brendo. It had good momentum, and the short float and the float really help with the trading nature of this. So I'm going to definitely keep my eye on it. AIFF and a show sponsor. Why not? Right?
Quick, yeah. Or shout out to our friends over at Firefly. Quick reversal there, guys, through $10 back to the upside already here for AIFF.
Oh boy. We're going to need a bigger boat. I feel like that's what Oh yeah, I sneeze. Yeah, we're going to need a bigger boat. And the reality is, anybody that was watching this stock yesterday, there were a lot of people that were shorting this. And it's not hyperbole. Like, this is one where you could even see it. Then when it started to win, the $10 level had monster offers, just refreshing, reloading, taking 100 thou fills at the $10 level. You could just see it happening, and they were winning. So this is kind of a very important price, like that $10 level. If it holds above at the open and breaks out the high, there was a lot of battling done at this $10 level, and I feel like that's the spot to watch early. If it loses it, then everybody that shorted, everyone that shorted that level, that held it, is feeling pretty good about themselves and thinking this will come back down to earth. I thought we'd go into $7, which was the first reversion. That never happened in the afternoon, so you have the $8 level in there. So $10, $8. If it doesn't flush through that 10, there's probably another squeeze until. I paid for locates because they were so cheap at real trading. It just made sense to do it on the off chance something crazy happened. And if it goes to $20 or $30, I've already got the locates, and by that time they'll probably have quadrupled in price. So I think you want to be ready for all possibilities. But as long as it's over 10, I wouldn't be trying to fight this thing.
Looks like the NASDAQ is bouncing. We had the right price, but we did get stopped out there as we're trying to bounce back upside. So that's too bad that we're not in it. But we did average a little bit more in to Apple right there again, and Apple had just popped up. and we didn't get anything out again. So I'm thinking like now in and around here, 231.50 or so, if the market wants to rebound, let's try to pick on Apple. Just okay, well, here we go. Now we're 35 cents in the money. Hopefully this will go back up. Yeah, look, I mean, I like all of those names. AIFF. I like Big Bear as well today. We'll talk hopefully a little bit about GameStop and some of those other names if they start to move around. But Bitcoin right now not having a good time of it. So we haven't talked about Bitcoin at all this morning, but it does not like that CPI. That was a huge. So that just cracked $3,000 basically. It was about 96.5. That very bottom is 94. So I guess $2,500 or so to the downside there. So check Bitcoin. I mean, a lot of stocks went down 2%. So did Bitcoin right there. Just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. And if we go on a 15-minute chart, which is what we've been looking at, I don't know where all my, there's the SMAs. Okay, so yeah, good buy level. Right? I mean, we've talked about 94,000 before, 92,000 being sort of that ultimate bottom that was made a couple of weeks ago back there. So I would still think that that's a decent buy zone right now for Bitcoin. So nice move to the downside there. Try to pick something up in and around 91, 92, but Bitcoin does go to that downside right now. So just watch out there. I might add IBIT. I mean, I don't know. I want to see this market absorb this number a little bit. Like 3.3 versus 3.1. Obviously, it's bad, but we were doing okay. Earnings kind of mixed today. We have Intel. We talked about where NVIDIA was, and I'm in Apple right now. Let's just see if we can hold this level. And what I was looking at, again, this is the NASDAQ bigger picture, but I was thinking about holding right into here, this 522, which are kind of levels that, although it was pretty choppy back there, but we were here, I guess, again, at the beginning of the month. So, you know, let's see if we can hold and whatnot. But Apple right now trying to go. Hegseth is talking right now. So, all right, there's going to be lots of talk all day about everything. I mean, yesterday we had Elon Musk at the White House there going on about various things, the Doge and whatnot. It was interesting to hear like how they're basically policing themselves, like Trump and Elon. So they're talking about some checks and balances. So that should be interesting how that all comes through. But yeah, thinking about adding some more names and might add some IBIT there.
I'm thinking if we're going to the downside on crypto, it's just hard not to want to short Mara today. I looked over, I'm like, if crypto's going down, Mara has a shelf, or at least it had a shelf at like $17. That broke yesterday. I think you've got room for continuation on this. Like if we don't get back above 95,000, like if this bounce fades out that's happening in the market right now, and the bounce in crypto fades out, then you can have this on weak. It's already weak. It's been weak compared to the rest of the crypto market. The miners just aren't that good.
Oh, the Qs.
Look at this. Like this is like the easiest short ever. Every single day you probably short the stock. So if we actually have a red day and we pop back up and this can't break 1620, I think I'd look for a curl on Mara. But it's assuming a lot of things. I'm liking the market to try to rebound here, at least at first. So, you know, Intel, and I don't really, I know we have that JD Vance story, and that's part of Intel. Maybe they're going to have a CEO soon. There's a lot of things that could be going on. Maybe just it's tired of going to the downside. But it was a ridiculous long that we didn't participate in yesterday. I'm like, today, if it's just stair step, bounce off of prior highs and continue to go. This one, it's breaking out, like it or not. And most people don't like it a lot. Here we go higher.
Yeah, things are happening right now. Apple's a nice move. And then thank you so much to Jay Lee and Chill Vibes. Yeah, he's asking at Neil and at Sean, did we look at the TQs on this move down? Come on, my guy. You know we were over here. We were all over the TQs. It's the very first place that I went to. I went to the NASDAQ, dropping from 85 to 82. I was long at, basically it was 82.15 or 82.16, and I just wanted to have a stop because you never know, right? And unfortunately, we were in it too early, and I did not experience that first quadrink properly. Yeah, it took me out at $82. So small hit right there. We're actually going to be gross. We're going to be gross. We're going to be net positive and gross positive, just because we were able to not get stopped out of Apple. So Apple right now, I haven't bought more. So you see what the difference was? We bought a little bit there, let it go down. back up. We should have taken some out there for sure. I talked about that. And then when it came back in, we sort of had waited. We waited about just 2 or 3 minutes for it to give us that level in and around 230.50. Once we had that, it gave me a better liking to go long. So we should have done that with the TQs, and then we would still be in it. So we didn't do that. So change it up, a little bit, but just pre-market trading. So nothing too crazy here ahead of what should be a good morning. There was lots of action, man. The imbalance locator will probably be pretty good here as well. So I'm excited now. I mean, like I said, we've been excited for a while. Tesla's moving around. AI is AIFF. Big Bear AI is moving around. Intel's moving around.
SMCI.
SMCI is up 10%.
Okay, well, hold. So one thing about SMCI, because like Tesla just bounced $7, Nvidia bounced $1, Intel just bounced 2%, Apple's bouncing, like the Nasdaq bounced. SMCI didn't go anywhere, so I'm like a little bit more concerned than I was before. Didn't take this one off of VWAP. Look, I know I said in my note I'm looking for longs today on SMCI, but I think you got to preach a little bit of patience. If it's not participating in the bounce now, then I think you got to at least be able to back off of it. Because if this loses the earnings top, what's obviously right now is the earnings high, but if it loses this top at 41, I think you're in a bit of trouble. So yeah, you just be patient elsewhere. Like not every stock is participating in this rally. And I think you want to start to group things out when you have a number like this and a reaction like this in the market. If it's not showing you strength right now, there's no need to try to fight it. Like that's SMCI, this is Intel. Like that's the difference. Like one of these things is not like the other, despite the fact that SMCI is up 10%. That doesn't mean anything when it's hanging out at the local lows as we speak. So yeah, just be careful. We know that these initial reactions to numbers sometimes get faded. That's why we like to go the other way on a bounce. But I don't want to get too complacent with that. And still looking for some shorts ideas that aren't lift. There's got to be something else I like bearish. Let's go to Adair. Maybe the upgrades and downgrades will help.
Right here.
There's some interesting names here on both sides of the wall. We're going to start with Upstart, unsurprisingly upgraded here by B. Riley Securities after their earnings report, doing quite well for that name. Then we have CRISPR, another earnings name from this week, getting upgraded by TD Cowen. Global Foundries getting upgraded by Needham, and Tesla here with a positive note and a $475 price target from the benchmark company. Let's see if Tesla can break its 5-day losing streak. We have TKO leading off the downgrades here with a downgrade from Seaport Research Partners. Tempest here, recent AI winner, and Nancy Pelosi pick today, getting downgraded by William Blair. On Holdings, ONON with a downgrade here from Goldman Sachs. And Novo Nordisk actually getting downgraded today by Morgan Stanley. Some of these GLP-1 names might be in play, guys. Back to you.
Well, I don't know if
Nordisk.
like Upstart is...
Upstart is starting it up?
Well, it's actually, that lost a bid in a decent way as well. So I think it's worth looking at. I had 80, I think, no, it was 81. 81 was the level. I'm pretty sure it was 81. Yeah, I was kind of looking at 81 on a pullback, but I don't know how much more I like it now. It's because, like I said, if you lose the bid, then how good do you feel about it? Something filling in the gap. It's much different at like 8:30 in the at 9:30 in the morning when you have that dip and rip play. You get that offer coming in and it's just the liquidity vacuum at the open, and then you buy that dip. When it happens on an economic number, it's a little bit different. So yeah, just a bit of a change in plan there. I won't just sit on the bid of Upstart looking for the reversion. It'll actually have to show me a little something there. And I didn't really get any ideas for shorts off of that list. Although, and this is going to be a weird one, this is not usually a name that I would ever associate with short, at least not recently. But it was the Palantir was already flat, and it kind of broke. Like yesterday, it made a fresh high and kind of rejected it, trended down all day, and then today you're underneath the low. Even on the bounce, you're not back into the prior low. This actually looks like a bit of a short. And then you throw in the fact that this could pull back 25% and still stay on trend. It could pull back to $100 and still be a very bullish trend. So it feels like this could be the type of day where Palantir could turn into a short, but not here. Not at 110. 110 has been support on this stock. I think into the prior high would make some sense. So yeah, that's not like the upgrades and downgrades didn't really give me any ideas for short trades, but Palantir here might be a little something if it can get a little bit of a pop. Yeah, we're reverting again back to the lows.
Yeah, I want to make sure that everybody right now, before we go over our watches, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. Only 400 right now likes. So hit it. 6,000 of you watching. Let's get going right now. Apple's faded back under 231 right now. Futures are still holding out okay, but there's Apple. So good couple outs there. It didn't look like we were able to get too high and too far past where we just were right there. I want to look at Google again. Not great from earnings, big move down, barcoding right now. So I think for a short idea, this could be a good name as well. In here into 184 and change. So 184.20, 184X right around here. Not a bad opportunity for Google as well. Down 1%, still hasn't battled back. Nice move. Look at the trend here. It sucks. I mean, I hold this name, so I mean, I would much rather it be up here. But yeah, Google really breaking down. And it kind of looks a little bit, it doesn't look Tesla-esque because Tesla's a little lower than where we are here on this chart. But yeah, I mean, breaking a key level. I remember when Tesla broke 350, 360, we talked about where that next level was going to be. And right now, you're not holding this 182, 183 area is going to be a problem because then I feel like that 175 probably is an incoming situation there. So I would watch out for Apple right now. For Alphabet down since earnings, I guess $20, so 10%. So a little bit of a 10% retracement. I mean, it gets into bear territory at 20, and we're not there yet. But you know, again, a name that I think is getting close to breaking that shelf. So this ELF might not last for too long. Oh yeah, you know what is ELF doing? ELF got killed.
They got smoked
on earnings, but I thought it was battling back actually. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So nice, $65 up to 75. Still getting smoked. But yeah, but there's ELF. That's that shelf that did not last for very long there. So I'm not going to reload Apple or anything right now. There's still 35 minutes, 35 minutes until open. And it's like, I don't know, man, this market is just, the NASDAQ continues to hover around a little bit. You had that nice bump up and then right back in. I think it's probably worth a long try again here. I mean, I did it once. We had lost on it. And we can try it again. I mean, at least now you have that out of 80, 81.80, whatever that bottom is. So I would wait on the market right now. Still.
Half an hour to go.
Yeah, like we are having a good day, but then at the end of the day, we're able to find some good trades there. So you never know. Like you could have a red day, and then at 3 o'clock, like boom, a trade just opens up for you, and it's like okay. So yeah, we'll be patient with this one. If Apple's going to work, it's going to work. If it's not, it's not. Honestly, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm just going to wait.
That's how it works.
Yeah, I mean the stop orders are in. If it bounces back up, we'll take it. So.
I can't believe Firefly didn't even budge. No, it's like, no, don't get me wrong. Firefly, a stock like this doesn't necessarily care what the market does, but every now and then you will see, like on a really extreme move, you will see some of these things give up. It's holding that $10 level. There are going to be some shorts that are not happy with the fact that this is holding $10. I'll leave it at that. If you were watching the tape, you saw what happened at 10 on this thing, and if it opens breaking away from here, there's going to be some short covering. I would think off the open. Let's go back to the desk.
A couple other things just happening. We were just discussing eggs. Eggs specifically, 53% increase year over year in the month of January. Crazy. Otherwise, though, we went through the list. It's where it always is. It's food and energy. If you take food and energy out, it's basically a flat print across the board. So not much has changed.
And I worry about our side doesn't really affect much of the Americans that watch, but in Canada, obviously, our dollar's been getting weaker as a result of the tariff war, you want to call it that. And obviously, that's going to have increases on food prices here because we import most of our food, especially during the winter months, and so that's going to be really affecting us. In addition to that, we've seen the new import tariffs on aluminum, and aluminum is also one of the biggest exports that we have. I think one of the biggest customers is the U.S. for our aluminum tariffs. So it's gonna hurt on this side of the border, Brendo. But you were saying there that used cars are up just a skosh, which is interesting as well because we've seen that kind of play out with the tariff war. A lot of the parts coming in from Mexico.
And is it just like, as we were saying, just a prelude and people getting ahead of what is potentially to come here? Yep. Sounds like it's basically a done deal. Here's the dollar right now. Liking that inflation print as well. Big move up for the DXY back to 1-week highs here, essentially. Right back to 108.4. Some of the treasuries moving around here as well. I mean, we just saw a note suggesting that there's heavy bets on the 10-year specifically getting back to 4.9% in a couple of months. So that would be another 0.3 to the upside from basically where we are right now. That's the 10-year. So a nice move up here for yields at this point, which is not going to help, obviously, the overall market. We'll get into a bunch of things as far as the rundown is concerned here and what's on the watch list this morning. I was keeping an eye on Lyft here. It's on the board, so we'll talk about that, 14%. But let's check out the market.
1692, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract. We rejected 6100. Again, it doesn't look like we're even going to get close to it today. If we continue bleeding like where we are right now, 6031 is what we're printing. Let's look at that low that we put in on February 9th. That low got into about that 6010 area. In general, we're looking to defend 6000, 6010 as support, guys.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab the watch list. It's absolutely free, no cost whatsoever. It's in the description of this video. Top link will take you to the sign up page. You just need your email address, and then you get that sent right to your inbox every single day for nothing before we come on at 8:30. I mean, a lot to discuss here. Let's start with SMCI back downside right now, but I mean, nice reversal off the initial move yesterday. What a downtick that was in a hurry. The shock, really, that it wasn't the actual earnings, it was preliminary earnings, and then turns out they were not that bad. And the forecast itself was not that bad. So back to basically where the highs were of yesterday right now.
Yeah, decidedly green right now, guys. So Charles Liang, the CEO, he expressed confidence in meeting that February 25th SEC deadline. He expects about $40 billion in revenue for fiscal 2026. That's above the street's expectations of about $30 billion. The revenue guidance cut, this was interesting here. So they lowered their 2025 revenue forecast about 23.5 to 25 billion. They had previously guided 26 to 30 billion, so a bit of a miss there. Analyst expectations were lower than what they had guided, 24.9. Q2 revenue estimates also came in a little light, 5.6 to 5.7. The street wanted 5.89. We know that their accounting issues have been a bit of a problem, Brendo. They delayed their fiscal 2024 annual report as well as their Q1 2025 and Q2 2025 reports, but it doesn't really matter to the market because they're up 27% in 2025.
Not bad. The one analyst that I found that is actually covering this stock has a $57 price target on it. So that would be a nice move still to the upside here for SMCI.
$57.
One analyst covering, there's got to be more. But look, the fact that they affirmed that they're going to meet, they said they're going to meet this deadline and get the real report out by the 26th. I think it's the 26th or 25th. 25th, sorry. NVIDIA's 26th. SMCI deadline is 25th.
Oh my God.
Which
Thank
is a great
you, Rob.
day.
Thank you very much.
But
Ooh,
look, I think
good.
that's a good sign. I was favoring, sorry, Ramin. If I put my phone down on the table next to my microphone, apparently it causes issues, so I always get reminded that I can't do that. So if you hear issues with my mic, it's probably my fault. No, SMCI was looking for longs because we talk about this all the time. Wipe out bottom, big recovery, breakout higher. It's a bullish setup technically, and when you start to think about what it looks like on the higher time frame, it's like, oh yeah, give me that reversal, play longs over. I mean, the 41 looks good. Would have loved to play it. I don't know how much I'm going to like a breakout today. I just feel the way the futures are going, I can't favor any breakouts. If it's a small cap, maybe, if a small cap is doing the right thing, but I can't favor a breakout. So I'm going to look for a mean reversion. I think that 41 top right in here and also pre-market support, that'd be the first look for some kind of a trend reversal after the open. The way this is held underneath VWAP, I don't know that I want to play this before the market opens up and you can see some actual liquidity come in. So far, you have a bunch of action in the aftermarket, a bunch of action in the pre-market here. It's a kind of stock I'll rather wait and see, but that's a bullish-looking setup if it holds 41. Unfortunately, the market might not care today.
What's up, Wrong Way? He just said that, and I appreciate the nice talk there about, I don't even know what a super trader is, but I'll take it. But no, we have this graphic right here. We were, without Randy, without Randy here today, we're having, I like the watermelon. It's actually pretty tasty. All right. NASDAQ just broke lower. So we were talking about, this is why, we had gotten out there, right? So there's not too much stress here. And we're waiting for Apple to break below its low here, below 230, then we'll get out of that one. But for right now, the NASDAQ is going the wrong way. So for any of these longs, I had written down here on today's, a new health, something in the Apple Health app is launching today. Holistic something, I think. All right, any love for Intel today? Oh, shoot, I didn't post a sticky note yet. All right, so I meant to do that and I forgot. We put on the sticky note, my bad, I'll get that out. I like 41 long. So that's funny. I have it as a draft. I forgot to push send. I'll do that in a second. All right, 41 long. That's where the 200 period moving average is. We just wicked down there. That's probably not a real wick at all. So 41, 41.50 looks like the low of the day. The reason why I liked it, and again, whoopsies, I want to talk about it from yesterday. There's 41. We had a little bit up here. So this is yesterday during the midday there, where we couldn't really get above this 41.50, and then it went whoops around noon, and we could never get back there. Then yesterday on the earnings report, me and Adara were watching this name, obviously, as it went up and down and stopped at 41 again, and then went to the downside. Now today, we open above 41, and it's giving me holding vibes. So let's just see if SMCI does that, and I'll go get this sticky note out as we talk more about Upstart.
I was moving to Adobe there. I was just reading. So Adobe launches AI video tool to compete with OpenAI's. It comes right back down, but just a heads up, Adobe kind of flying around here right now. We did break the highs there and came right back in again. Adobe launching an AI video tool to compete with OpenAI. Prompt to video type idea. DoorDash as well also just popped up in front of me there. Another one that reported back downside. Not a lot of volume this morning for DoorDash, but still hanging on to a decent gain for that one. Yeah, let's talk Upstart, trying to hold on to $80 here. What's much bad about this? Obviously comes back in on the CPI number.
Up 155% in the last year, Brendo, 12 months. What a move up for Upstart. It wasn't all just roses, though. So here's the look, guys. Here's how they did. So they lost about 3 cents per share. That was better than the street was looking for. The street was looking for a 4-penny loss. Adjusted earnings were about 26%. 26 cents. That's what the street was looking for. That exceeded forecast there. The revenue, about $219 million. That beat the 181.9 the street was looking for. With respect to their guidance, Q1 2025 revenue forecast, $200 million, well ahead of that 185 the street was looking for. And for the full year revenue guidance, they're looking for $1 billion for full year guidance there. The street was looking for less than that. $821 million. So a nice move up, guys. And JP Morgan, they upgraded Upstart to neutral from underweight, raised the price target, Brendo, from 57 to 79, citing macro stabilization and risk improvement.
Yeah, we'll see how many eyeballs there are on this today. One of those stocks that typically doesn't do a heck of a lot unless there's some sort of earnings-related number or something along those lines.
Anything or not, I've heard that Axe Capital themselves are upgrading those notes that Sharif has right there. Those look good, man. I'm pretty impressed. Like, well done, man. Like, I'm sitting there like, hey, that looks sharp, putting in that work. Now, the problem with Sharif, the problem with you putting in all of that work into making the notes look good is you need to make sure you keep up your push-up game, because I have you versus Joe. So, make sure you divide that time and get those push-ups in every single day. Upstart, hopefully this can push up higher. When it's a squeeze name, I'll tell you right now, as a trader on a name like this, gapping up on earnings with a 24% short float, the desire is usually to be looking for some long plays. Now, unfortunately, the number was what it was. That inflation print was what it was. On top of that, you've seen it lose the bid. It's trying to make some higher lows. You've held on to 80. I think that gives a place for some action off the open if it can hold on to that 80 level for a continuation play. Anytime it's an outsized move with a short float, I'm usually wanting to look for the longs. I think the chance to revert it typically comes when it breaks a pre-market low. I just can't see myself shorting that 80 level. So look for maybe the mean revert over 80. This is exactly the kind of play where if we hold the open and it just starts trending, you can start looking for like a VWAP hold a little bit later on in the session as well. Again, 24% short flow. I know we had a few people in the chat that were yesterday and throughout the week eyeballing this as a sympathy play and a continuation after a firm did well. Well, that worked out for you. Nothing wrong. Hopefully people took some profits, I would assume, when we gapped up this far. Usually people would. Yeah, but play this one a little bit more patiently off of the earnings. And maybe they'll get uplifted today.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Lyft next. You know, let's just go to Lyft. I mean, I think Upstart. Yeah, I mean, play back into VWAP. It's already up. It's below VWAP right now. So I think we'll just wait for this stock. I mean, it's a nice level. It seems to be basing out right here at 78, 79. I was just actually gonna try to see because I'm just checking Adara's note from yesterday to see what the implied move was on Upstart. The implied move was 21%. I'm not making that up. So I'm just looking now. It moved 46% last earnings. The implied move is 21%. So options are washed right now. So let's wait to figure out what winds up. Yeah, that was kind of a good guess, but right there. So that was kind of fluke that we looked at that, but right there, so not that interested really. It's up 21%, that's great, but the implied move was also 21%. So let's just see how it figures out, right? If the shorts want to push this thing lower and get a little bit of a win here, that I could see that happening. And if that does happen, then maybe you're into 74, 75 before you know it. So I'd be careful with Upstart here today. It's really not on my radar. 21% implied move, and that's what it got. To me, it's a no-fly zone until you get that dramatic move one way or the other.
To Lyft here, downside, opposite direction entirely. We're actually right at session lows. Not a heck of a lot of volatility or volume behind this right now. So Q1 bookings, they warned of a downtick to come as far as people using Lyft, and then also pointed to some weather-related issues. But I mean, a day ago we were sitting here talking about this autonomous, or was it? I guess it was Monday. We were talking about the autonomous side of things. Lyft came out and said 2026 they're expected to have some sort of autonomous offering. We had a huge move to the upside, right back down.
And they're using Mobileye, Brendo, to get that done, or so they're saying. So the CEO, David Risher, basically says, look, AVs are not hurting our market, especially in areas where there are autonomous vehicles with Lyft. Now, we had heard previously that they had been eating some of the market share that they had, I believe, in San Francisco. That's where Waymo's Google was working. That's being argued by the CEO, saying, no, we're actually expanding in there. And basically, to add your point about the autonomous vehicle strategy, so they do plan on introducing AVs in Dallas by 2026, again using Mobileye's technology, and they want to have about a fleet of 1,000 cars, Brendo, owned by Japan's Marubeni. I hope I didn't butcher that. Thousands more AVs, will be deployed in other cities. They're saying, and here's what they want to do. They're saying they're expensive, so they don't actually want to own them outright, right? They want to seek partners in order to finance the ownership there. So that's the look. Now, with respect to how they did, the stock dropped, as you said, 12% there, based on lower than expected Q1 gross bookings, which were about 4.05 billion to 4.2. That missed the street's estimate. Revenue was close on the quarter, 1.55. The street was looking for 1.56, and they printed money. They actually made money now. Where they haven't in the past. They made about 61.7 million, which is an improvement, Brendo, from the loss of 26.3 million.
I found it very interesting. They went out of their way to point to the autonomous angle and said, this is not an issue for us, but an opportunity.
Yep.
I mean, what else are they going to say? But at the same point, they went out of their way 2 days ago to say this is coming sooner than I think a lot of people were expecting. But meanwhile, there we are, 14% today.
Yeah, we had seen Lyft move a little bit on some Uber. Uber obviously has Bill Ackman underneath it. I wrote down Lyft here, 13.25 or so short. I mean, the move has already happened to the downside, so this is a name that's going to be on the sticky note. Again, this is just the area of concern for me. So here was the up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So I want to see it get back into here. I don't know if that's going to happen. There is, was there a 7? No, it's SMCI has 17% short float, but there is a short float in Lyft.
13.
Is it 13? Okay, so I'm not going to check it, Neil knows. So, yeah, so okay, so 13% short in Lyft, that's good enough for me. I just want to see it play back into this area, and then we'll be there. So, yeah, I mean, not great, but that shelf has now broken to the downside. So I think playing in this rough area here makes sense. This is a daily chart. It's gone a lot of nowhere. I mean, if you go all the way back, I mean, even to where we are here, these levels are back so this is last year, January of 24. Nice move up to $21 from 14, back down to 9, up again and right back. So there's just been kind of like a pretty mixed bag here for Lyft, depending on what quarter you're looking at. But, you know, last time, a year ago, this is what the quarter did. This quarter, this way. So I think they're waiting for this autonomous driving. I almost think Lyft, based on some of the numbers there, they have the user base. I mean, maybe they're a buyout candidate at some point. That could be something there for Lyft. Apple's working again. Apple's back to the 50-period moving average. So we'll take another piece out right there. As I told you, man, we're not stressed out about this at all with Apple. We have our 230 out. If it fades through there, we're going to get punched out anyways. So right now, we'll see if Apple can get a little bit higher. But yeah, Lyft, I'm sitting there with the short and in around that. I just wrote down 1325, but it's that area short. So I just think be patient if it gets there and see what happens. I still want to go along the futures, though, right now. I just can't pull the trigger. We already got Apple on board.
Yeah, I'm thinking, look, the prior support is 13 on Lyft. It held it for so long. Unless it's back above 13, I'm not thinking long on the stock. It's just there's an abyss underneath this if it breaks 12. So I don't want to short it necessarily. Like, you're at 12 1/3 right now. So first available pop. You know, you've got VWAP, you've got the pre-market highs, and you got 13. So any one of those on a reversion, I'm looking short on Lyft. And you also have the market going with you. That's the other thing you want to keep in mind. And if Lyft starts catching a bid, I'd probably prefer to sympathy long Uber if that were the case.
There's a note on Micron there, guys, that came through. Speaking at the Wolf Semiconductor conference this morning, they maintained their Q2 guidance, but forecast fiscal Q3 revenue growth downside. So a little bit negative there for MU with a big move to the lows essentially on that. 2.3% here, meanwhile, for Alibaba. Anything China, excuse me, my voice is not cooperating. Outside of this one, I noticed this morning, JD.com, 2% downside. So a little bit more positivity for some of the e-commerce names.
The delay of that $800 tariff, that de minimis tariff that would have affected Temu, Shia, and AliExpress, JD.com, all who ship into the United States, taking advantage of that exemption, you know, they possibly could be a bit of a tailwind for them. Also, David Tepper, we heard him go on CNBC in September, really pound the desk, say buy everything. Well, he's putting his money where his mouth is, Brendo. He's continuing to add to his positions. They make up Chinese-related holdings now make up 37% of his portfolio. He's got the likes of JD.com, Alibaba, PDDs, also got some ETFs, KWeb, FXI there. Now, with respect to Alibaba, because Alibaba has been quite strong lately, especially after dropping that Quen AI model, which has been gaining adoption not just with Apple, but Stanford, Berkeley, they're all looking at picking it up. The company has split its AI operations into two divisions, one for consumer applications, Brendo, and the other one for enterprise AI tools. So they're doing good here. Alibaba on a bit of a hot streak.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, ADRs across the board higher, just that JD sticking out there a little bit. There's Li Auto, XPeng as well to the upside this morning, coming back in obviously with the market move.
Yeah, Baba, look, the one I'll look at is Alibaba pretty much almost every single time, and we've pulled right back into prior highs. 115, that's yesterday's high, I should say. It's been at these prices before, but yesterday's high at 115. Obviously, it had a banner day on the Apple partner up, and you know, looking for a little continuation is going to require it to revert this at the open. I feel like a lot of stocks, if you're bullish on a stock right now, like there's two kinds: the ones that are still going down like this and looking for a bounce, and the ones that have made a bounce and trying to put in some higher lows. So this has yet to really make a definitive low and bounce, but this is the spot at 115. I call it like an over-under level. If it's underneath 115, I really don't want to be doing anything with it because I'm not thinking short on Alibaba. But as long as we hold above, reversion plays, VWAP, trend up is the way I would like to play BABA. If you're looking at this from like that swing perspective, this has been the spot where if you've been buying the 70s and 80s, if it's a trade, taking profit in front of 120, let's just say it worked last time and then you're able to rinse and repeat. So this is kind of that spot on a higher time frame where there was some profit taking to be had.
All right. Right now, we're positive here, including the TQs and the Apple trade. So, yeah, so far so good there. All right, let's just wait to see if Apple can go. I think it can. I mean, I'm already a little bit, I'm not upset, but we should probably still be long the TQQs. There's Alibaba 113 to 114 long. Strong AI talk in China. I think that makes the most sense right here, that's what we wind up doing. So, again, I can't believe it's round tripped all the way back up here, but that was a great move. Probably will sell this level. We've talked about the last time we sold was right here at 117.50. I don't know how lucky that was back then, but we did not buy anything back. And that's what I'm saying about the forever hold strategy. You know, because you can basically hold it all the way up here to 120, make a bad decision by holding it all the way back down, and you don't know if it's going to be a bad decision or not. Gets into $80 again, so you give up basically 50% there, and then it just rips up another 50% right back to those levels again, and now you have a chance to right the wrong if you wanted to do it again. So I wonder how many people will ring the register, but as we just explained there, David Tepper, and there's a lot of people that are liking the space right now, and there's also a lot of traders like Brian Shannon and so on that completely ignore Chinese names. So I don't know if that's the right strategy either, but we've been watching FXI for a while and actually talking about this trade, even back that day when we all made our picks. I was like, if you're going to go something, maybe China, because of all the negativity surrounding it. And Donald Trump has come out and even said, even when he was running, that you know, he's going to have that relationship with China and try to be more business-like with them. It seems like it's working out there. But this is not a tariff-related thing. This is an AI thing. So they all seem to be getting cheaper, smarter, faster. So yeah, I would say stay long China right now until something happens. I don't know what that's going to be, but you can always get out on tariff news and things like that. I would say stay long with stops, but yeah, FXI. You're not seeing this in any other major. This is the China 100. Right? So this is a huge move. Like the NASDAQ 100 hasn't moved. So that's $29 in a month. So this is in a month. So you've now moved from 29 to 33. So you've added $4 on 29. So you're up about 12 or so % in a month on the major index. That's a huge move. It would make sense to me if people started getting a little bit out. Apple's still going 60 cents in the money right here. We'll figure it out.
We're just checking out the snow forecast for Toronto. It's coming. Intel 5.3% here to the upside this morning on some comments from JD Vance. There was also, I was reading a couple of these, the reviews for their latest chip. Better than expected. Who knew? Huge day yesterday. Here we go again. So,
Brendo, they're still kind of bleeding a little bit in the desktop segment, but they're starting to pick up ground or regain share, market share, I should say, in laptops. Specifically, their Panther Lake CPU expected later this year will be a laptop-only CPU, and it will leverage Intel's new 18A manufacturing process. I don't know what's happening here, but apparently...
Ramin with the assist. We're trying to zoom in a little bit.
I can't even work like this, Brendo. I don't know what to do. The desktop competitiveness here, which they still are doing poorly in, they're not expecting much until 2026 when they launch Nova Lake. Very interesting names for these CPUs.
But look how much better it looks now.
Of course. Yeah, she didn't interrupt at all. There was, yeah.
Look at perfectly centered. What are you going to do? Thoughts, guys?
8, 10.
Oh, the battle.
How many?
I love that. You always got to be nice to Ramin. Come on now. Always. Ramin and Fabian make us look and sound good. So they have all the power out there. Look, Intel making some strong moves. You know, the Fab spinoff could be something that's happening. There's a lot going on with it. It's held on to VWAP. It's held on to the prior high.
Go Apple.
It's up 5 points today. I think, you know, the fact that it didn't even retest the lows on that number, on the CPI print after the initial downside move makes me like the long. So we're just going to work the long on this one today. As long as it holds VWAP in the prior high, we're going to be buying the dips. And Intel, if we lose that CPI bottom, well, then I check out till 21, because 21 is exactly the level that held right at the end of the day yesterday. So that's, if we lose this, come to the chart for a second. Yeah. If we lose this bottom, then I wait back in for the 21 level as Intel. It's just been a strong stock. It's now a couple of days in a row. It even has a potential breakout through like 27.70 or so. 5 points after 7 points at 1 point yesterday. Yeah, long until it's wrong.
Yeah, we bought Intel. We put a new position on Intel in $19.80. So it's been working out pretty well for us right there. Apple right now, Apple getting close to my favorite animation, of course, because, you know, when we have $1 in the money, it's worth celebrating a little bit. So there goes Apple. Nicely done to the upside. Chef Joe, I'm checking my messages, and but I'll check them in a second. I haven't looked just yet. There goes Apple. Okay, so I really like Intel. That's why I bought it. Let's just see where it goes. I mean, again, you know, bad name, got hit, now moving up, kind of like Baba here. If we can get to 24, 25, I think we pull the shoot on this and just take whatever that was. We did the same thing on Rigetti, but that was in 1 day. But if we can go from basically 20, let's say 20 to 26 right there, and you can get your 20 to 26, $6 on 20, you know, get your whatever, 14, 15, 20%, whatever that's going to wind up being, a little bit more than that, actually, 25%. That would be great. So I like that pull. I think it's a long back at the 200 period moving average. We will have some imbalances coming out. I hope it does shoot Apple up, and of course it shoots it down a little bit right there. So we're going to find out where these imbalances came from. Plug Power there. Intel with a sell as well. Moving back down now, so that's a sell. Plug Power. SMCI with a little bit of a sell, but not doing anything right here. Apple, yeah, Tesla, that was a good one. I just saw Apple move down, but not really, came right back. There's Tesla with the sell. Ugh, that's too bad. We had written, Tesla's not even on the board there, actually. Tesla's one of my #1 ideas for a sell up there, but we'll have to wait to see if that comes in. There's Big Bear AI. Shout out to Tisha Perkins and everybody else out there looking for some small cap names. But yeah, Big Bear looks like the biggest small cap on here for right now. What is that? OCEA. We've seen that name before. Yeah, 17 cents. So LITM, 60 cents. Plug Power may be the one right now. I don't know what's up with that. 3 million. So it's not doing too much to the stock, obviously, there with Plug Power. So yeah, those are my thoughts sort of on Intel. There's just, for me, there's bigger names today, but Intel, it doesn't matter. You can use a lot of shares on it. It's only a $20 name. So I feel very, very comfortable trading this, and I think it would be a dip buy into this 21.75. But the market's down 1%, so early. I'm not super excited about the long. I'm trying to even get out of this Apple as we speak. So,
we have plenty of time here.
Yeah.
Just remembering, Rigetti is going to be short sell restricted today after being down over 10%. So with 3 minutes to go here, it's right at the 50 period on the daily. This is the level. I'm like, it needs to close above this today to look for a bit of a reversion, but it's at that spot. So at some point, I'm suspecting I'm going to look for one of those trend down reversals on Rigetti because it is SSR. Lunaware asking about SOPA from yesterday. SOPA was actually a really good long in the afternoon, but once it gave it up, like it was a good long off of a trend. Like it got from like 575 and went to 650. It's kind of an easy 10% move, but it lost it to VWAP, and now there's not a lot of volume going with it. If you're looking for a crazy squeeze play, that's not doing volume. Firefly is. Firefly has done 15 million shares by my count already pre-market, and it's holding above the $10 level. So this is, again, going to be on watch. If it holds 10, I think this one can absolutely fly. There were a lot of short sellers at the $10 level, as we've mentioned a couple times. And have we shown NVIDIA? Probably not.
No, we didn't really talk too much about segments other than
NVIDIA's underneath yesterday's low, so this is looking awfully weak. If we come back into VWAP and cannot take it back out, I kind of like Palantir a little bit better if we're fading today, but it's a very similar look for Palantir underneath yesterday's low, not much of a bounce. I think if we fade off VWAP, it's already respected at once. I like that on Palantir. And one last chip before I throw back to Sean, Micron is down a lot. Micron, compared to everything else that I've looked at in the chip space, Micron down 4.5%.
Oh, there was a story.
There was a story that we're speaking at a conference, probably worth having that one up on a watch list somewhere. Didn't have any levels for it, but if we actually do end up bleeding, this is the worst of the ones that I've seen, and getting to some major levels here at 87.5. Worth keeping an eye on. But with SMCI, Intel,
NVIDIA's not much better, man.
NVIDIA.
Damn NVIDIA.
Yeah, we barely even talked about SMCI. Like, there's a lot to look at today off of the open, so you got to pick your poison. I probably won't look at Micron, to be honest with you, but it's worth watching.
I'm going to try to short VWAP of NVIDIA here. All right, it's only a minute and a half left. I'm only in Apple, you guys. I was just talking about Intel that because it was on the board. Some of you asked. The position board is working. Neil's long Intel. I'm long Apple, so we'll wait. I don't think the long is right, though. We'll just wait. Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. I actually wanted to, share it as well. Where's the video here? I want to see how many likes we have right now. Wow, okay, yes. Thank you so much, guys. Over 10,000 watching as we speak. That's all right. 1.1K, though. Yeah, we'll take it a little more than 10%. We'll get that. Let's get that going here. There should be like a short float. 18% of you should be voting at least right now. Okay, so I'm going to take NVIDIA short on VWAP as if it was an earnings play. It's down 2% right now. We'll play that fade down on NVIDIA. What else am I waiting for? We're into Apple. I'm waiting for Baba Long. We only have 30 seconds left. Baba Long off, sticky note into 114. Let's see if that happens. Maybe it will, maybe it will not. And then SMCI, a lot of you are probably here for that. Over 10,500 of you here right now. Over 1.4K. We just get a 30% boost right there in the likes. So thank you so much for that. SMCI, I'm still waiting at 41. This will probably be the one that fills me first. So SMCI down there, and then lift the short. I think that we had talked about there. Yep. All right, we're a little late on the bell here, but that's okay. We only now have 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, 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 ding. We are now open. The casino has opened its doors. Please gamble and play responsibly. Right now, SMCI doing not much. We'll wait to see what happens there. Wow, Apple with the ripper right there. We don't have any offers up there? Come on, guy. There it is, 232. It is now that dollar club right now as Apple going back up to the upside, just sorting itself out. Let's take some more outs up here on Apple as we start to moonshot right now. Neil, oh yeah, that's a big trade right there for me on Apple, setting the tone early right here on AAPL, Neil. Wow, what a move up. I hope Intel's going for you as well. But Apple right now absolutely ripping up $1.20. We just tweeted this out minutes ago that this was the trade we liked. We like it so much, we like it twice. Right there, nice play there for Apple. Let's just see where it goes.
Absolutely love that play. Actually, I'm watching Palantir. Intel's still in the money. It's holding VWAP at 22. Palantir just broke VWAP as well. And SMCI lost a bid, so I guess we're not going long SMCI. NVIDIA just broke low of the day. Anytime the chips go down, got to be a little bit concerned with that. I was trying to buy the dip back at our 2180 on Intel. You can see it just very, very barely missed out. Still going to go long in front of that 21.75. Tesla's bouncing higher. It looks like it wants to hold that 330 level. All right, SMCI, this is what you got to do. SMCI just wicked 42 and back above. So if it doesn't break the low, there's only one place to go.
Oh, I just keep getting out of SMCI, so we really love that long, and unfortunately, we were talking about playing it back to the 200 period. I was waiting at 41.50. The bang up level there for SMCI. Okay, we just got more outs there. Apple is very, very choppy. So we just have a whole bunch of outs here at 232. We take advantage of that move early, but watch out for Apple fading right back in right now. Bye-bye, Apple. Good outs there. We'll still be fine. I don't know if we're going to reload it. I do have a buy down here closer to 230. If it breaks 230, then we'll have another look at that name again for Apple. Neil's already in Intel. It's hitting on some of my scanners there, so I don't know what's going on over there. SMCI, I still like the long. We'll wait for it. Let's check out our Quen friend over here with Alibaba. That came down into 115. We're waiting for a little bit lower on that one. And then Palantir, I know, was a name that you had looked at. Again, I just keep on looking over at Neil's and SMCI. Okay, so Palantir, whoa, hey-oh. Nice move. Yeah, huge move there for PLTR. We sold some finally in our account yesterday at 114. We did talk about that, and we put our money right over here. And I don't know, ooh. Oh, yeah. All right, Tesla. All right, so that seems to be a one-day move. That seems to be paying off right now. Buying Tesla yesterday at 330 and selling some Palantir. But, okay, here we go. Tesla with a nice move to the upside now. 336 break long. I had written down here, we'll wait for a 340 short. So let's see what happens here with Tesla. Apple kind of turning around right now.
SMCI lost it at VWAP. So if it loses 42, remember I said if it doesn't break the low, there's only one place to go. It got to VWAP. Just quick. There we go. It got to VWAP. I reloaded it. The reload's going to cost because the reload was unnecessary, and it's now trend down. So we're going to get out of that one. Intel also, we reloaded it. We lost the bid. Second lose the bid. I'm out. Not fighting it. Do not want to be caught in that one. You're still seeing a little bit of strength over there in Tesla and away at Lyft. Didn't want to forget about Lyft. The one idea that we actually like short, let it calm down a bit. That's a real wick. It kind of just went up 30 cents, down 30 cents, and is just sort of chilling out. We like it off the pre-market high. We like the $13 level for some fades. Let this one calm down a bit. But it's Palantir that, it caught a ridiculous bid right off the open there on Palantir. And now up and green. Clearly, this one's the one, and continuing to go higher and higher. You had mentioned NVIDIA. NVIDIA, not yet at VWAP. I kind of liked it a little bit. It wasn't necessarily VWAP, it was a prior day low. Anything that doesn't break the prior day low on the backside here, I think is still going to be a short. But this is why you do not fight the stock. I said if we lost here, I don't look at Intel for long until $21. Well, it's going to be at $21 right quick.
Yeah, tough trading on those chip names. We're in SMCI right now. It falls into our lap here, but we're not going to. I'm just looking and thinking like, okay, if this falls back in, like where is the problem? I think it's a $40 break. So we're going to have to give it into that level if we're going to do anything right now with SMCI, because we wanted to try it at 41. Now we know that obviously this is going to be a sort of a slippery slope there. We had written down 41 long, 70% short float. Let's wind up seeing what happens with this name. So SMCI, we're long at 40.70 right now. I think I'm pretty comfortable with it. A break below $40 though, we'll let it run a little bit underneath that, but like 39.50 is probably going to be it, because standing in here and catching these knives are sharp, and you do not want that, as Sharif says. It's a no good right there. So we'll wait to see if it does fall back in one more time here for SMCI. But so far so good, man. I mean, we'll lose on the TQs, which is kind of crazy. Now up about 70 handles from where we had it. Apple's been a great stock, and that will put us basically where we need to be with going 1 and 1. And then we will tempt fate right now with SMCI trying to play this level right now. There it goes. So there's the break. So we're going to watch out what happens at 40. Often you'll get a break down like this and then a pop right back up. So if that doesn't happen, then we know that SMCI is a no good. So right now long at $40.50 on SMCI. Take a little pressure off here in the 30s, mid 30s if we can. But there it is. So it didn't go. You see, so it's supposed to go there on the fail break, and it didn't. So yeah, we're getting ready now. Not going to average back in. We'll give it down here one more time. SMCI so far falling knife time right there. And we've talked about not being stubborn, right? If it breaks lower and it kills us and crushes us out, then we are gone. Apple's still working though.
And for the first time, well, we're into short. It's not Lyft. I wish it was Lyft, but if Lyft doesn't set up, NVIDIA just went right into the prior day low and did a curl. It's underneath VWAP again, so grabbed it at 60s. I actually have, there we go, had an offer in there at 68 as well, actually 69, so average price now 65. If we make a fresh high, simple out. Do not want to fight this. Oh, Intel's at 21.
Here we go.
All right, so Intel's at 21. This is our reversion level, kind of like the 40 for you. I like this 21 for a bit of a bouncing reversion here on INTC. So if it breaks it, I'm looking for a break and retake, and then we're going to go back into the long into Intel.
All right. Okay, so we just got out of some SMCI. It does break over 40.50, but look, here it comes right back in again. So just kind of massaging our position here. We're lucky to have Apple. That's going to be that dollar. Is there anything else? Yeah. Palantir right now, 112. So this is getting to be, again, I kind of like this move up to VWAP here in the futures. If we can come out. Yeah, thanks, Fabian. So we'll have to wait to see if it wants to continue there. But that might have been the move there. We had gotten back up to this level, 21,600 on the NASDAQ, or I guess post CPI right there. That was a nice little bounce. We'll see if it can hold that level and continue to go higher. Palantir is fading out though right now, but Apple's a good one. And here goes, come on SMCI. Let's see, okay, here we go, Neil. Now we're 20 cents in. Let's see if SMCI can get going a little bit. Just want to take a little bit off. We've only taken off 5%. Let's see if it goes higher. There's another 2%. Here goes SMCI. We're making it rain one more time over on this side, guys. So nice so far. I hope Neil's short is working out there on NVIDIA. We'll get coverage in that when we get back from A.
Couple earnings names here on watch, of course, other than SMCI. Confluent actually really looking good here. CFLT, they did report 23% revenue increase here on a year-over-year basis, EPS and sales beat. Of course, Upstart as well, looking pretty good here. UPST making new days highs or pushing past the pre-market highs as well. And last but not least, smaller cap name on watch, XLO, showing up with some volume here. So lots of names to keep an eye on this morning.
It's a wild one this morning for sure. So a couple of things here. One, obviously, we're getting a bounce on Intel. The market's also going to be bouncing. Palantir did a curl, but we're not in Palantir short. We're in NVIDIA short. Right into this prior resistance level. It looks like it wants to take out that top. All right, Intel, actually I have no orders out on Intel. Let me get some here. 15s. 18s, and then I'll get some out on Intel in the 20s if we get there. But if we take that prior high, I'm jumping out of NVDA. I don't like being in front of the NVIDIA freight train when it wants to break. So I'm going to jump out of that one if we break that local high. Intel, we like 21.
Oh.
So it's bouncing. I just got those like 16s and 17s. That's what I was just firing out while I was talking. And then I'm offering here in the 20s. There's resistance at 40 in theory. Prior low, prior resistance here yesterday. But I think if we get to 2140, I got to be able to respect that. So Intel, we stuck with that one because this was part of the original plan. 2175, 21. If we get to VWAP, I'll be perfectly happy with VWAP because it's still a trending down stock. Tesla's also about to break out those highs. NVIDIA just went as well.
All right, so tough there with NVIDIA, but good trading on Intel, obviously. Here we go with SMCI, man. It's $1 in the money right now. So we already took $1 on it. The two trades we've been in so far. We've been in 3 trades, by the way. SMCI is $1, Apple's $1, and TQ's is 100 handles. But this one is not the winning trade. We got stopped out in the same minute, basically, there as we were there. But the good thing about it all is, of course, is that we went back and took this trade out again on Apple, as it just went to 232 again. Like, we have to start taking that out when it gets up there, and that's what we've been doing. So hopefully you guys are sort of mimicking those trades. SMCI, of course, it's on our radar. Neil and I both talked about that earlier. So I know you were in and out of that one real quick, but we sort of stuck with it. We did have our plan of action there right now. And this will be P&L number 1. It'll be close to Apple depending on what happens here. But right now, SMCI, we're really glad we're on it. This is right off of our list, right? It's our number 1 trade idea. But we do have another alert. Wow, SMCI, Neil. We're half our day goal right now. We talk about this, and we talk about this all the time here on the show, and I think that's important to do that, where you know where you sort of sit here. All right, so we started the lift short. We wrote down 13.25, but we just took the short here at 13. Let's let lift breathe a little bit here. I don't want to get stopped out immediately on this trade, so we're going to give it to 13.25. That's going to be my next order, and then 13.50, right? If we break above 13.50 on lift, then we will pass that. So there it is, 13.50. That's 13.60. I just don't want to, if it breaks here, we're gone. So 13.50 on lift is my new stop zone right there. So yeah, man, so far so good. SMCI really ripped there. We're able to get some out, but here's the fade back again. So just be careful what we're doing right now with SMCI.
Yeah, the market is screaming into, the NASDAQ screaming into VWAP here, so just watch out. If we break through this, I think you're going to see some things really start to fly. Tesla's about to break out the high as well. Ooh. So I just got that 40 level on Intel. At this point, if it breaks the prior bar or breaks trend, we're going to jump out. I like VWAP in here, obviously. But if you can't get through VWAP, that is a distinctive trend down. It's still a failed break of the high. So failed break of yesterday's high, and then underneath VWAP. If I was flat this and not long biased, that's usually a shorted VWAP. So it is a take shares in front of VWAP kind of situation for me. Tesla, this is a Tesla potential break. I said I wasn't favoring breakouts after this number, so I'm not going to take this break. But as long as it's holding $330, I think this one is a long on a recovery day. That's what we put in the notes. I didn't want to have any breakout, so I will not take this break. But if we fail it, come back into VWAP. Trend is your friend till the end, when it usually tries to bend.
Yes. All right. So really just the same old stuff here. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, we're here, there. Yeah, Firefly maybe. JP Morgan just made that move up to 270. Okay, not much volume.
Firefly is halted to the upside.
Oh my
Firefly
God.
is halted. It's at $12.50.
There it is.
The shorts are wrecked. The shorts are wrecked on this one. There were people shorting this thing. You saw them on the book at $10 yesterday, multiple times, hundreds of thousands of shares in one shot. One was 300,000 shares, one was 100,000 shares. They got moked, and now it's halted up. The tap is actually $12.72.
Look at SMCI.
So it's indicating a higher open. Obviously, this one is taking names out. AIFF. We'll let you guys know where this one ends up.
It already is. Yeah, $1.70 in the money. Great trading there on AIFF if you've got it. But what we actually have right now is $2 in the money on SMCI, $1 in the money on Apple right now, and a 5-cent winner on Lyft. So we'll wait to see what happens with Lyft. But oh boy, if you guys are here on SMCI today, we trade where there's news, we trade where there's things happening, and there it goes, SMCI, guys, $2 and change now as that register is starting to get rung a little bit up here for SMCI. But oh boy, do we have more to go on this name. I mean, why can't we get up here, man? Why can't we get to 43? We just take some out there at 42.25. We're back here again, man. We say this all the time, but we are doing this. We are now moments away from getting that level that we wanted to do for our own personal goals. Right there, we are just moments away from getting our personal day high. There, go. Okay, so right there, there it is. Daily goal met right there again. So thank you so. There it is. Thank you so much for that as we put down some chicken dinner winners on here, Neil. It's a big trade alert one more time for us on SMCI. Sharif just goes, dude, that's a great trade. It's almost, Neil, a 2-bagger. It's a 3-bagger right now as it goes up $3 in the money. And then, by the way, we're just going to go 3 for 3 here and trade Lyft as well. So let me just show you what's going on with Lyft. Look at that move right there, guys. What did we write down? We wrote down... Okay, I mean, look, humility, I understand that, but let's just call it what it is. This is Lyft, Neil, 13.25 we wrote down. It's high, it's 13.25. We're short 13.25. SMCI, $41 long. That is now $2 in the money. Okay. So far, $2 in the money there. Huge trade on Lyft. I'm glad you guys are all here. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. There's reasons why we just hit 500,000 subscribers. We're here, and I'm not going anywhere, and neither is she. What's up, Adara?
We're going to take a look here at TIGR. This is Up FinTech Holdings. No news on this. There rarely is when it runs, but it does tend to sometimes move in sympathy with these Chinese tech plays, which we know have been very strong. So TIGR on watch. And again, this is a smaller cap name, but does have a market cap here of, I believe, over $1 billion, float of over 1 billion shares. So this is not tiny by any means, guys. TIGR.
So I'm out. We said we'd do it. We got 21 to 21 and a half. We'll take our 2 points and run on Intel because I still think this is relatively weak. We talked about this in the future. You're right at that VWAP. If we pull back, wait for 21. Have a plan. Stick to the plan. You know, this is one that could have been a day ruiner for me for sure if we kind of dug into it too much. And that's what you got to be able to do. Get out, wait for your next price level, and what is going to be next. I feel like it's Tesla. Didn't want the breakout trade, but we're going to look for the dip buy back into VWAP here or anything in front on Tesla. It's up 2.5 points. It's been down multiple days in a row. I think we're getting a relief rally day here in Tesla. As long as it's above 330, I'm going to take the stairs to the upside with any luck on Tesla. AIFF, I know a lot of people looking at that Firefly. I paid for locates in case it puts like a $20 or a $25 level on it. It's continuing higher. But the only thing I would look for is the halt level. If it can hold the halt level on an initial pullback, then I might look for longs on that name. But it's going to be about Tesla for me next in the midst of this little bit of a pullback. I want to be able to pick up the bid here. If Intel holds above VWAP, we can always go back into that name, still favor the longs, but I want to see that 21.75 start to hold. We were long before the market opened. So Tesla's on tap next. I think the market has a decent chance to go green. If that happens, Tesla, if it's going down 5% every day, 5 to 10% up on a relief rally seems pretty reasonable to me.
NVIDIA's at VWAP. Okay. Yeah, never sell Palantir. That seems to be right. Look at Palantir right now, up 1.6%. Giddy up, man. We are loving this name. And again, I hope everybody has traded. Oh, man. Look, we're at our day already. But wow, that pickup there on the futures was the one, but you could have had it here. This is more the one that we ignored it, right at 9 o'clock. That's where we really should have been digging in there because we already have that bottom. So if you really do like the long down there for sure. So wow. Yeah, you're going to hear me. I didn't, great trade there by Neil. You must have had a lot of, obviously a decent amount of shares down there. If it could have been a day ruiner, we had something similar with SMCI, but it wouldn't have been a day ruiner for us. We were just trading sort of comfortable right there. Even if this fell down through 39.50, we would have only at that point taken about $1 hit, which would have been fine for us. I mean, we've really changed our style of taking more risk, letting trades build up, and then letting it just blow up. Because, like, you can have good trades, but if you don't put on the risk, then it's ultimately not really going to matter. What we're trying to do is just teach again, and then everybody can put their own risk on, right? Like, you could see, oh, we're getting close to 50,000 followers. I want to thank everybody for that on Twitter as well. But we're about 50 people away. But as you note, like, and I always get messages like, man, I had a great week and then I just lost it all in one day or on one trade or whatever. How do you manage that, right? I mean, and that's part of it. That's why we have this risk tolerance and these levels, right? And that's why when you want to ask us if we're green or red on the day, questions like that, that's all that matters. And then once you figure out that you've gotten green 7, 8 days out of 10, and you can do that pretty consistently, then that's when you start to up your shares and then start to take a little bit more risk. Right? You can see behind us, the floor is a ghost town. We only have OB on there. Why is that? Because prop trading and trading in general is super difficult. So if you don't manage risk, then you're going to be like everybody else and hitting the floor and hitting that pavement. So you got to manage risk properly. And if you can do that, then you can be a successful trader. And it's like, how do you do it mentally? You have to have that confidence, and you just have to understand what you're good at. And and just be real with yourself. It's lowering. When I'm struggling, I lower the shares. When we're doing well, we up the shares. And you guys have seen, this is now 5 years for this show. I've changed completely the way I trade, and that's really changed and for the much, much better. I mean, you could see right here, the show is kicking it right now. You could see the trades that are going on. I've clearly found my role here, and it's been an absolutely bang-up experience, and I just want to thank everybody for joining, because this is exactly what we're doing here every single day. So there it is, man. Thank you so much for everything, and yeah, not quite the religious preacher right there, but as far as stocks go, I'll be here for you guys.
That's what it's all about, and it's so true. Like, find that level of consistency, have your plan of action. The market's at that tiering point. I just want to come to Tesla for a quick little second. That was a bit of it kind of missed 334. VWAP sits at 333.50 on my chart. If it's different on yours, the data starts at 6 a.m. If yours starts at 4 a.m., you probably have VWAP that's might be a little bit lower. But look at the bounce that just happened off of VWAP. Like, that's pretty intense. Leave it in there, see if we can. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to leave it in $2 away. That's another rule. I do not like to have a bid just sitting there when it's more than $1 away. So if we don't get that VWAP bounce, I'm still looking over to see if Intel can hold on to VWAP on its own. If you like a price level, wait for it to get to that level. I want to see it hold, get back above the prior high, and then work into the long trade. Tesla didn't give us the dip that we necessarily wanted, but it's still looking pretty solid. And then the only one that's on the plan of action that I haven't traded, Baba looking to retap prior highs. So Alibaba ran off yesterday's highs. Now it's reverting back in. Anytime a stock is in a downward trend like this into my support level, they draw a trend line, even though in this case it's like a really obvious trend, so you might not need a trend line. If we revert the trend and are above 115, long Alibaba. Close above this bar, and then we go long. Hopefully 115, I think that's the best price. Put the stop underneath the prior bar low, and that's the plan of action for Alibaba. Intel's still trying to go. I still think it has a chance, but I think Baba's going to be next on the mean revert, at least for myself. Any events today? Manic just said in the chat. Well, Powell day 2 testimony, so you got to watch out for anything he might say while he's testifying. You never really know. He doesn't have to talk about the economy, but he usually makes some comments that could potentially move the market.
All right, what else do you guys want to talk about? So SMCI just goes upside there. I'm just trying to piece this out as it goes. We just got a couple bumps up there, 42.60, 42.30. You're still hovering around. We talked about let's go to 43.50. I didn't even have an offer out there. So I'm going to put an offer now at 43 flat, see if we can get that. Then we'll be happy, and then we'll see what happens from there. If it wants to go higher, fine. Apple is the trade that we thought it would be today. So there goes Apple, $1.50 in the money. We're $4 in the money now in total positions. So, and this lift though, all right. Position pending right now, we're red on this name. So as it comes up here, we'll try one more time right here at 30. It was a good move down, but we only got out of half. So if your average price is going to be 20s like it was, and then we only got out of half around 30, we got some 12s, 95s, 96s, but generally, I guess that was about right, 98s, 96s. We didn't even notice it until it was all the way down there. And then we took a little bit more out at 9s or 10s. So we'll be roughly flat on this trade, but our stop is 13.50. So if we get elevated up there, then we'll have a position on board now looking to figure this out. So yeah, we're a little bit off here on lift. We did want to give it to 13.50, which is right here. It is a sticky note trade. We had written it down. We are short right now at 22s. So that's really the price to worry about. I'm going to put another bid, like what is that level, 15s? All right, I mean, we're just scalping it out. Like I said, I'm positive here today. So if we can get something on this downside, it doesn't have to be a huge trade. The huge trades have already been with Apple and with SMCI, and we are looking for more. We did want to look at Google as well. So GOOGL. We're short lift 22s. All right. So Google did have that barcode opportunity there. And then we had mentioned it that we like this for the short. It does break that level right there off the open and get to 182. This is a name that I'm nervous about, but it does hold that exact level. Wow. So there's another opportunity. We talked about 182 there today, and it holds it perfectly. So for the win right there. No positions for my guy over there, but we do have Adara at the desk.
Keep an eye on this GNS here. This is Genius Group. The company's CEO just posted on X, looks like probably an attempt to push the stock higher, but basically saying apparently that its current share price, its market cap is half the value of its Bitcoin treasury and 30% of the company's net asset value. So I guess some positive comments from its CEO sending GNS to the upside, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much there, Adara. So Alibaba is still doing a reversion and, still trying to do a reversion. Sean's already mentioned lift, but for myself, you see the break? I like the mean revert on this stock. We said we only wanted to be short-lived, but it's in the upward trend. It's trying to break the trend right now. So if we do break this upward trend, like this higher low to that higher low, if we break this trend, I would look short. I feel like Alibaba is going to come in there first. Tesla's pulling back into VWAP. Palantir is absolutely on one. I'll get to that in a second. So Lyft, Baba, Intel, still not seeing the strength that I would like yet above VWAP. Let's bounce VWAP. Let's try to make some higher lows. Otherwise, we wait back in for 21. If 21's where the long worked, and if we're going to get there again, that's where we have to wait for it on Intel. What up?
Apple. Wow, what a name, man. I mean, this was yesterday. This was my number one stock, or was it the day before? This just goes to getting right back into your comfort zone. So yesterday we nailed Apple. Today it's honestly, man, to the wall right here on Apple. Like we have this trade, man. Like this is real life. Right there. So far so good on that one. The NASDAQ is getting to a spot now where possibly there's the 200 period. Again, being long down there was pretty sweet, but we don't have it. $84 coming through right now. We did talk about Starbucks going for a little bit of a dip there as well. I was thinking that this again, I really like this stock and I actually want to buy this name on dips. And that is just that it was well extended from its 50-period moving average. So every day, Starbucks is up today, but every day I'm still trying to see about Starbucks eventually trying to break that 110. And I think that when it does, you do have a nice downside move there for Starbucks. Of course, today it holds 110, but no liquidity in the pre-market. Not really a super strong play there for me. All right, I'm going to get another piece out here. SMCI is both these names are $2 in the money for me, so it's about massaging this. We have Bitcoin. We talked about what a buy that was at 92,000. Looks like it was back up to 95.5 right now for Bitcoin. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now. Neil slides into Alibaba over there. So yeah, so far so good. Let's see what's going on over there with you and Alibaba. How's your day so far?
It just did a revert, so we got into it when it broke this trend line right in here, actually trying to add to it. If we lose the prior bar, we're going to be out. The other thing is, you can see, we just tagged right on trend on lift, looking for the breakdown on lift. So got to be focused on the execution here. If it breaks the trend, even better, ideally, if it fails a high break, so break the high, fail the high break, maybe trap some people with a 13.5 long, and that looks even better for reversion. So both these plays are the reversals, one reversing long, another one reversing into the short. That's the plan of action. Tesla's at VWAP as well.
Oh, SMCI.
So that's what we got to be watching out for. So this, all right, Lyft just went back into the high of the day, so I guess it's not going to imminently do that move, but there's the close above and the break of the prior bar high on Alibaba. Let's see if it can get back into the top. Remember, these highs on Alibaba are the stimulus highs. So anything into 120, 118, 119, 120,
sold.
I expect to be a big time sell zone on this stock all day today. So any longs, continuation longs, I think if it holds VWAP, if we get above VWAP, I'm looking for higher lows above VWAP to play the trend on BABA. It trended for half a day yesterday before losing the bid. That's what I want to see happen again. But it needs to break and hold above VWAP. First things first, like break this VWAP and then go.
All right, yeah, let's hope for a good... No, not that I know of. Yeah, let's hope for some good luck there. Good trade there on Alibaba. Okay, so we're still doing our own damn thing here. SMCI just goes to 42.50 and we get out right there on that one. The market, I told you, seems like it might be getting a little overextended. I am right now pretty close. It's 10 o'clock right now. We have Testify coming up with Powell testifying. So we'll have to wait to see if anything happens right there. We'll check out, yeah, we're going to go to Adara right now, but we do have coming out, I tweeted out, it's on our watch list as well here today. So at 10 o'clock coming through today, we have Fed Chair Powell testifying right there. So let's go over to Adara and find out. There goes SMCI. Nice out, some shares there. SMCI falling just a little bit. We'll check out Neil's position, my position, and go figure out what's going on with Adara at the desk.
We're going to take a look here at what's happening so far in the market. I just heard the Powell stream begin. So the people are chattering here in the House. Yesterday, he testified for the Senate Banking Committee. Today, it's going to be for the House. And again, this stream just began. We did actually just get some comments as well from the president of Mexico here, Claudia Sheinbaum. She said that they're going to, quote, send a message to the White House with regards to these tariffs. That sounds like retaliatory tariffs. And we know Donald Trump has said there's going to be some response on reciprocal tariffs this week. We haven't heard anything yet, but keep an eye on tariff talk. Basically, though, the market bouncing pretty nicely after a pretty steep drop at 8:30 on stronger than expected core CPI for January. Tesla on watch here trying to break a 5-day losing streak, while fellow Mag 7 named Meta on watch here as its 17-day winning streak may or may not continue. We're going to have to wait and find out. Then we have some earnings plays. SMCI has been discussed. Lyft, of course, Sean involved in both those names. And we also have Upstart. They beat on earnings, they beat on sales, stronger than expected guidance and upgrades from different firms, including B. Riley. So UPST definitely on watch. Make sure to like and subscribe. If Powell says anything of note, I will certainly let you know. Do you?
No, he'll say something of note.
Say something of note.
I mean, that's what he does. All right, so here comes. Yeah, Tesla is. Well,
I'm
Tesla's
go
back
short
at
again on
but
Lyft.
here comes Lyft, break trend, lose this bid, and you've broken the trend. Looks like it wants to. Alibaba just broke VWAP. It just got to 117. Local top 117.50. If it trends up to that and loses the trend, I'm going to get out and try to buy it back in at VWAP on Alibaba. But I think Lyft is going to happen any second now. It's going to lose this bid. The market's rolling back over.
Boom.
Powell. otherwise known as Domantas Sabonis, pivoting over there. As Powell making some power moves apparently. His post game doesn't look very good there. He needs to work on his drop step.
That's for another coffee. At Rob Any chance for another coffee? Any chance for a reload?
That would be a good idea.
Okay, we shall soon find out. All right, so here we go. We are back into lift. So we will slap a fail on that trade right now, but we're back in. So now let's wait to see what does happen now with this stock and lift. Of course, we're back into this name. This is my biggest position right now on the name. So let's take something out at 40, what? It just went to 45? Okay, we'll punch some out there at 46. I got 45 half there. Let's see if we can have some of these this time. I don't know if we will be able to or not, because we do have a bigger position right now. On lift, Neil. Oh boy, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now, as there goes lift. Oh man, did we nail that one, Neil? That was, I hope you're in it. We nailed that right now on lift. Good trading, boom, boom, boom. Our biggest position right now on lift on the day. There it goes. Wow, okay. Boom, goes the dynamite right there, man, on lift. So far, so good here today. Wow, that was good. We went from losing on that name to just waiting, getting back into it, and there it goes, man. We're out of half on what is a big position there for lift. So, wow, definitely made that back there as it's starting to get back to that downside now, LYFT. Oh, boy, as they say there on lift. Huge move downside. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. Wow, what trading today, man. Every day, this is a day, man. This is a jam there today. And so we're just going to go. Huge monster trade there on lift.
Yeah, there you go. It just broke. Just quickly show you guys. That worked out perfectly. Failed break at 1350. We're like, it's even better if it fails to break it. Trap some longs above 13.5. Wick above 13.5. Broke the trend line. Broke the trend line. Clean. Got 41s. Moves. My stop is not going to be at the high. You've already made a move down in a prior high. So once that happens, I don't want that bid. Once that happens, I'm moving into this bar. So if we break, this is actually 48. If you break 48, then I'm jumping out of this thing and don't need to have it. Obviously, it's going to be short sell restricted, so every single bounce can be a big one. That's what it's about. Just wait for your execution plan. I said lift might be the next one.
It is.
One in, look for the VWAP retrace. It seems like we're going to get it. 13's a psychological level, being a round number, so there's always a chance that it could bounce there. But let's see how far this one wants to go into the downside. So lift. I think if it bounces off VWAP, I'm actually going to go over to Uber and see if that actually has some more strength. Like Uber, I'd rather be long Uber than Lyft. Let's just leave it at that. If we bounce off VWAP and trend back up on Lyft, I'm going to look for longs in Uber in sympathy. I just think it's a better stock, and I'd rather not be long Lyft.
All right, we only have 30% left of Lyft. Oh boy, that was a day changer right there for me. Honestly, like that was pretty huge right there on Lyft. We even told you, man, it was a pretty not max position. It was about double what we had on the way up there. Well, part of that's because we were able to cover, but at the end of the day, and then it just fell off right there, almost like as if there was some sort of news. But we will start to cover that one absolutely immediately. Thank you so much, Rob. Am I a fan of vibrating? What was that about? Oh, too much caffeine? No, I haven't had too much caffeine, my guy. Don't worry about that. Right here. This is second coffee of the day in 4 hours, so it's not too bad.
That's not a lot.
It's not too bad at all. So, and look, man, I don't know what gives us these trades, but we're not going to change anything right now. Like I said, we're having an absolutely huge day right now. Up on Apple, up on Lyft, up on SMCI, and all up huge. And we've made, so what we lost on the TQs, every one of my winners is bigger than what we lost on the TQQs. So we'll go 3 and 4 over here and just have quite a green day. It's only 10 and change right now, 10:06. So yeah, that's how it's going for me right now over here. What's going on with you?
Well, I think, like I said, you just need to have a bit of a plan. I'm going to bid out on Lyft right now. Got back into Alibaba. 116 is going to be the, I'll get there in a quick little second. This is the last bid, and then it's trend on Lyft. So, and again, I actually don't think there was any news on Lyft. It just, the trend line from the entire day is one thing, but I find at 9:30, that crazy first wick, I almost want it to always settle down and then show me the trend after that. So after it puts in a distinct higher low, that's the trend to revert. The one off the low of the day, the morning, I'll care more about that when you get later on in the session if it's got some support off of this. But that initial trend break, the one in the VWAP, it's always going to be about that first bounce level. So the second it broke, you can see like the second it closed underneath, it was just a technical drop.
lift.
So always going to be a huge fan of those. That's why we like that setup. And for like 15 minutes, I'm like, we were flat, we weren't really taking anything, and then this happened, and that's what you got to do. But at the end of the day, when you get a reversion, you also want it to work right away. So BABA gets into VWAP, comes right back into our support. Our stop's right underneath this prior bar open close, which is at 115.90. That's when we like to the long, but I'm not holding it into $15. I'll trade it again at $15, but I'm not holding it into $15. That's not going to be my style of action. So I've got my stop. Let me just double check it. Let me tighten that one up a little bit. Yeah, I actually had it, and I had it underneath 80, but we want it at that level. So we're going to be able to get out now. It's all about having that plan and taking things out and not fighting them. Because if you fight a stock and don't let it get to your better level, and now this is going to happen on Intel. I'll give you the black chart. If you fight a stock, then you're going to miss that next trade. And that next trade sometimes could be the bigger one. So if BABA gets to 115, that's the level we like better. It was the same thing as Intel. I'm not saying BABA's going to drop huge, but sometimes you have to wait for the bigger level. And even Intel can't seem to catch a bid here. So wait for that bigger level on BABA. Thought it was going to be 115. It can still be the 115 on Alibaba Adara.
Just be aware here, we have the market on watch. The Jerome Powell meeting just began here. They're just called to order opening statements here from the leader of the House committee. So if there's anything of note being said, I will certainly let you know. Worth noting, they also said there will be a hard stop at 1 p.m. Yesterday's meeting ended a little earlier than 1 p.m. I believe it was around 12:20. So, of course, I will let you know when things start wrapping up. But just worth noting, the meeting just started, guys.
Okay, thanks, Adara. Yeah, what's up, Trader Dinesh? Shout him out there for the big trade there in Shopify. So congratulations. All right.
You know what?
We still have a
Nimrod's break even.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, Palantir. I mean, look, if you're going to go long on short on Palantir or long on Palantir.
No. He wasn't short.
Yeah, he was long and he held it. Yeah, no, I think it was long at 116.50, but at the end of the day, well, either way,
that's a 6% bounce for him.
Either way, bad decision.
No, and look, and we talked about this last night. You never want to turn a day trade or a short-term swing trade into a long hold, but if the market gives you an out sometimes, and I don't know if Nimrod's listening right now, sometimes the market gives you an out and you just got to take it. You know, like that's what it's all about. We were talking about fat fingers the other day. I've been in a couple where it's like, oh, the market doesn't screw me. It's going to let me get out here. Yeah, I'll take it. Just jump out of it. So Palantir up 1.8%. It's actually, I don't want to jinx it. It's a bull flag, but if I go, it's a bull flag, it looks like it could break out the top here and continue, it'll probably end up pulling back because I just said so. So, yeah, unfortunately, Palantir testing the bid, but that looks pretty strong to me if it can break out the top.
All right, Scotty J. I can't make Apple do anything, so all you can do is just sort of rock with it and see what winds up happening right there. But SMCI, I'm going to take another piece out right now. We're pretty light on all of these positions again, so just trying to. And again, remember what we say this all the time, and it's Neil always says this, so I'm just kind of channeling what he says there. You got to trade your own style. And my style is to use more shares and get them out a little bit quicker. Your style might be something completely different. Like, let me show you an example here on Lyft. When this happens, like Lyft just made my whole day. If you don't have enough shares there that this doesn't really matter, then maybe, you are either, again, you're trying to practice and get your strategies right, which is great. And I think that once you figure it out, then start to ramp up your shares. But, at some point when this starts to happen and you have shares on board, especially when you've already seen this bounce happen and it goes right down into your levels, then I'm pretty much emptying the clip regardless of share size for myself. So that's what I just wanted to say. Like, I'll look back and be like, oh man, I wish we still had this when it's all the way down there. But at the end of the day, I have to make a decision because, quite frankly, you got to be responsible. And again, we talk about this all the time. You got to be responsible with the amount of shares that you're holding and what you're trading. So that's why, like on SMCI, when this happens, obviously we probably would have hit 2 or 3 times our daily goal if we had held all the way for 43, all of them. But I don't know that that's going to happen. So again, like this SMCI when we came in was up like 14, 15%. Now you're only up 6%. And this show's #1 stock right now is SMCI. And it's from this long. So it's like, just think about that. Regardless of the styles that we're doing, I'm telling you which stocks every day are the #1 P&L upside and #1 P&L to the downside. So you can assess the risk that we're putting up and the trades that we're giving you. So that's why I'm shouting out Trader Dinesh. I haven't even looked at Shopify yet, but you're like, I got $1 in the money and you're super happy with that play. So great trade there, Dinesh. I'm not even sure which way you're in this name, but that's my point is that everyone's going to trade their own thing, make it happen for you. You know, be honest, look down at the numbers at the end of the day. If you're doing well, push it, because, you know, you're not here for a long time. You're here to build up a strategy and then use it once you find it. If you don't find it, that's fine. 98% of the people don't. But when you do, start to push it, and it could be something that you become really successful at. So good luck to everybody. And I hope that Trader TV Live has helped you guys. Over, I don't know, we had 12,000 watching at one point here today. Still 10,000 watching and over 2,000 likes, over 500,000 subscribers. So we keep doing it every single day, and we're really proud to keep on doing that for you. So stay with us, and thanks for all the comments in the chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate it. I know there's a lot of small cappers moving, and we haven't really covered any of them, with the exception of AIFF, which is up 50% again today. Mr. Panda asked, can you narrow down what you look for in small cap stocks? Outsized volume. Typically speaking, I want it to be trending. If I'm looking for a long, because usually that's the idea, you want it to be holding trend. That's higher highs. Above VWAP is always a big sign for me. But I don't want to see underneath VWAP and laboring volume are bad things. Underneath the prior day low is usually a bit of a problem. But this one is just an absolute, it's just a little different. It's underneath the whole price right now, but holding on to VWAP. So I don't want to, like, this is not really that great of an entry, I don't think, because the big buy level seems like it's going to be at the prior high. Like, it might even rinse people through VWAP, do a crazy wick, and then a reversion. But yeah, volume's at 50 million shares. I mean, this one's absolutely on one at this point. All right, Intel might get back to 21. 21, can you do something for me again? So Intel cannot hold on to VWAP. It's rolling back underneath. 21 is where it bounced in the afternoon. 21 is where it bounced this morning. Let me double check. Lyft is also going to be holding on to VWAP for now. But if it breaks VWAP, I think you get down into 1250. Don't have a reload that isn't involved with the prior high on Lyft yet. But if we trend down, we can look for this underneath 13 as well. I see Oklo and Rigetti, some people talking about it in the chat, but I wanted to get back over to Tesla for a quick little second. Tesla, yikes. Yeah, Tesla's going to lose VWAP here. Ideally, it actually just fakes everybody out like it did last time, holds the higher low, breaks the trend, which is what I'm looking for at this kind of day. Like, I want you breaking one of these trends, closing above VWAP, and then we can get it back into the upside. If you're catching a falling knife, you could be trying to grab this underneath the low. I'm looking for this to close above and give me an entry. And once it does on the 3-minute, then we get in. Similar to Lyft, but I like that execution plan. And Tesla's still up 1.7%. A little stronger than the market, which is why we favor the long for now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like, I think we're all liking Tesla. I'm favoring the short in Tesla. I'm going to have to go back and just have a quick look at it, though. And you see what I was talking about with Lyft here, guys? This is the point, is that's why we cover down there at $13, so that if you really do like the trade, you can reload it at some points. So you got to cover a little bit. We'll cover a little bit more at 10s there as it does make that move back upside. But I just wanted to show that as an example on, you know, risk management there on Lyft. So you got to take something out when it hits your levels. Right now, the 50-period moving average is back now to 13 again. So we'll have to wait to see. But that's see the out. And like I said, that's just part of it. If you only have one lot, you can't get any out. But if you're trading futures, or sorry, options, you may only have one contract. So that's the thing, like you gotta sort of pick and choose where you get out, right? So, but yeah, big trade there for Lyft. SMCI, again, same kind of thing. It's been really fading out now. I can see how many shares we've traded of this. We have about 5% or so left. Apple, we do still have 10% left of Apple. So we're still waiting to see if that can get going a little bit. Actually, we're at a decent level right now. My next offer is much higher than this. So we're gonna get something out at 20, as I just noticing here that we're breaking above VWAP. And again, here's another tip. Like when you have 3 positions like this right now, it is a good idea to look around and make sure that you double check where the stocks are going and make sure you have offers where they're necessary, because there it goes. Like I need to take some out here on Apple. My net is just kind of going like this. There's not really that much happening right now because we don't have a huge percentage of our positions still left on. We do have a new caterer starting next week. So I don't know if the lunch is going to continue to get emailed or not, but that is everyone's, I think it's their second favorite segment. Yeah, so we'll wait to see if what happens with there. But we still have the salads. So that's what's happening there. Apple, we just talked about it. Lyft, again, I'm really proud of that trade. I hope you guys were on that one as well. And then SMCI, not doing a whole heck of a lot. Meta's strong. That Palantir, you know, great job today, like up 2% and still going. Wow, man, this stock is just, it's been a difference maker for me. And I cannot believe the strength in Palantir like every day. It just seems to. Despite the NASDAQ being down 0.6, like this name's up 2.29%. That's why I favor actually. And I think Big Bear's up again right now. Dang. It was down there at 7. I was hoping that we could have got a flush today in Big Bear AI because I really like this name for the long run there.
Rigetti flushed.
AI. Yeah, Rigetti, So I last bought Rigetti at $6 and sold it at 9 in one day, which was a bad decision, but I was like, okay, we'll take it. Maybe we get that again. The last time I bought Rigetti was at the 50 period. It was right here. It just fell like this. And by the way, thank you, Martin Shkreli, for opening your mouth about quantum. That was great. That fell back in right there, and then it just ripped right back up. But now you're getting that other opportunity right now. Maybe, as Neil just mentioned, maybe this is a buy. Down to 1050, right at the 50 period again. So far, so good there. If you did that on Rigetti, as we now are up on the day, RGTI bouncing basically off that 50 period moving average again. So great level there on Rigetti. Yeah, so far, so good.
Like that 50 period, the thing about an indicator, and we say this all the time, it's great. I have nothing against any indicators. I like moving averages on dailies. I like VWAP. I like volume. I don't use much of anything else. But if you're going to use one, make sure that the stock that you're trading actually respects the indicator that you're talking about. That's why that 50 period is so good on. We already saw Rigetti bounce off that when it had that bad news. We're back into Alibaba. Said it got to 15. There you go. That's the prior high. It got to 15. We put another mean reversion trade on. Remember last time it got to VWAP installed. Now all of a sudden VWAP is also the higher trend top. So you got to respect A, VWAP turn last time. B, the trend down on the day reverts here at 116.5. So this time, if it fails that break, I just jump out with a trailing stop. Tesla still not really giving us the fade. Intel never got to 21 either, so I guess we're not going to get that. And Palantir looks like it is. Jinx. Yeah, you didn't break out the high. It's still the bull flag. It just hasn't broken out the top of the bull flag. 2 seconds ago when I looked up, Palantir was looking like it was going to break this top, but it hasn't broken it yet. I emphasize the yet. Let's go to Adara.
Not too surprisingly, the IWM underperforming the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Why, you may ask? Well, we had this pretty significant drop here for the IWM at 830, 227 to a low of 220.5. That's when we got that higher than expected January CPI core print. The IWM or the Russell 2000 is a lot more sensitive to rates than what we have with the NASDAQ or the SPY, so it makes sense it would have this outsized reaction. So IWM right now, though, bouncing decently right now, trying to break past some resistance at 223.15. KDLY, our first small cap here, could not find any catalyst on Kindly, but it has just under 2 million share float, so very small float for KDLY, up at its peaks over 100% or almost 100%. VNET, this company is VNet Group. They are a Chinese ADR. They're a tech name, and it seems like they're running here in sympathy with a lot of these Chinese tech names, which have been pretty strong. Hang Seng closed up over 2% yesterday, so looks like some sympathy. And then we actually have a small cap with a catalyst. It's going to be Tivik Health Systems. TIVC trading higher here, announcing they've acquired the exclusive licensing rights for a treatment here from Cetera Biopharma. It's actually a penny stock right now, trading around the 60-cent level. Also, just to be aware that Chair Powell is giving his opening statements, other than being told to move the mic closer to his face. Nothing has actually happened here, and he's not been questioned yet, guys.
Oh boy.
I feel like sometimes they do that just to get camera time.
I don't know what's going on with Apple right here. It's huge. And we talked about this was the one that we had pretty much the most shares, and we just said we had 10% left in Apple. So there it goes right now. And we said we'd be honest about what the number one P&L names are today. Apple, SMCI, Lyft, with the worst one being this TQQs right there. But like I said, though, we're up double on these names what we're down on the TQs there. So wow, there it goes back up to, this is just absolutely monstrous. I'm willing to buy Palantir. Oh my
God.
gosh. Okay. I just put bids here at the 50 period, hoping to get long at 14.50, but that we were at $15 then. And I was just looking at the charts and was like, okay, look at the NASDAQ. What's going on with Palantir? Yeah, that's what's going on with Palantir. We've been up here before. It's not, we were just here yesterday, so it's not like this is like a crazy level. It's just a nice move up. I could see a fade off of 16 right now, so that's definitely a possibility right there. It's not huge on this level, so I'm not like in love with that as a trade. I think the better one would be see if you can clean all of that and then really start the short rate here at 117, 117.50, something like that for Palantir. But wow, what a big name there today, Palantir. And I don't know if they just made a deal with Apple or whatever, but Apple is making that move up. I mean, I think it's just a matter of time before you, what's up, Dragos? So I've only sold like maybe 15% or so. We talked about the positions on Palantir. I'll sell them as well to people at $200, and hopefully that'll come soon. We made this the pick of the year. I did for my own pick of the year. That was back at $65. Oops, we're not even on Palantir. And that was a month ago. So Palantir right now continues to make moves higher. And oh boy, what a day. $3 in the money on Apple, $2 in the money on SMCI. Neil's still there with that Lyft trade. Lyft is getting a little bit back to the upside, but it's still heading down. Nice trend on Lyft back into the downside. What's up, A?
A bit of a catalyst here for AAPL. About 10 minutes ago, we had Ming-Chi Kuo. This is a noted supply chain analyst here, specifically often talking about Apple, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Ming-Chi Kuo basically said here that apparently Apple's exploring humanoid and non-humanoid robots for its future smart home ecosystem. So potential smart home robots, according to analyst Ming-Chi Kuo. That could have been the catalyst here for Apple. Again, he posted this about 10 minutes ago, but it's just getting circulated on social media now, guys.
Okay. So we're going to get VWAP out on Alibaba, kind of try to stick to the plan there. I wanted to respect the day trend, so I kind of, that trend line was there before. It's going to break it now, so I might get into another long. You still want to be bullish on this name, but I said if it lost VWAP, there was that wick. It closed underneath the prior bar, so I jumped out of it. Just make sure we lock it in. There's always going to be other chances to get it. If you can only trade once, fair enough. When you can trade it multiple times, I don't mind taking the stairs up. But it's lower lows and lower highs, so want to make sure we lock in the profit on this and then look for us trade off of VWAP or back at the 115 area if it wants to give it to us. Palantir did. I mean, it kind of broke, but it didn't break 116. So it's still doing all these topping tail candles over and over again here on Palantir. This feels like it wants to go. Maybe it needs to take out the 116 and just get a clean, even dollar break. Otherwise, the trade might just be to look for the pullback into this support, like a 114.5, if you want to participate. That might be the only jam here for Palantir, because you can see the sellers here at 115.5, so maybe try to buy the bottom of this support level.
Yeah, so it must just, so that's exactly what I just mentioned there. So we're going to be on the same page there with Palantir. I'm bidding these levels of 114.50. So let's see if it does.
I'm going to take the break. Though.
Yeah, let's see if it does fall back in. My out will be 113 though. Break of 114 downside. So we'll put a stop order in there just in case those fills come through when they do. All right, so that would be that trade. All right, like you know, thank you, Min Chi Kuo. I mean, this guy's the same guy, I believe, anyways, that just randomly spews off like Apple's missing on this and that. And he might have been right. He might have been right on all those plays. I just know that this definitely what he talks about can move the market. So it's too bad that we don't have more longs here on Apple, but this is what I'm talking about holding things, right? So. Yeah, no small caps. I mean, you guys keep asking us about small caps. We don't have any traded here today.
AIFF is pretty much.
Yeah, we haven't traded it, right? But I mean, Big Bear AI, AAIF, those are big names. 31 million shares and going higher right now on Big Bear AI. So far, so good right there. I feel like, I told you, I really want to get into this name. So it kind of sucks where we're going on that right now. You know what? We haven't checked it out. And like I said, I think NVIDIA is probably P&L number one for the show period since we've split off, but nothing today, down 1%. It looks like a short to me for sure underneath that 200 period. It looks like it wants to hold it down. Something about Hawaiian Electric right now. Isn't that HE?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just see. So some congressperson there purchased $100,000 worth of stock.
That's nothing.
Okay, Intel, I'm just looking to see what's hitting on my scanner here. Intel, Broadcom, maybe Starbucks, iBit, nice move there for iBit. Oxy right now flashing as well, so we can have a quick look at some of those plays. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a positive day. So I'm positive here today. It's only 10:30. This could all change very, very quickly. We'll figure it out as we go along. But yeah, so far so good into today. There's Oxy, I guess, just kind of like a day's high look right there at $49. So we just talked about HE, and it looks like it is going. So maybe right there, Congressman Gil something.
It's so crazy.
Congressman Cicero.
Well, they got to make sure they get as many of these purchases in before they change the laws.
Right? Yeah, and I mean, and now it's disclosed. It's kind of like, well, I mean, everyone's like, oh, there, but there you go. You buy it as well. There it goes. Nice move to the upside. We could have just made money on that, right? We brought this to you at $10.13. So that's now 9 cents. That's now 10 cents. I mean, there are opportunities there. But Neil's right. Yeah, you got to look. You're allowed to invest no matter what. So here we go. Fed Chair Powell still talking as well. We've just gotten out of a bunch of shares there. Lyft, we talked about the responsibility there of getting out at that level. Again, all going to be dependent on, as Neil says, whatever style your style is. Mine is called taking profits. So when it comes down there into the 50-period moving average, we've looked at that many, many times. So I take that out, especially ahead of an even dollar level. So go short there at 50, take it back. But my trade was a little bit different because we'd sort of gone red on Lyft. It was our only red stock there once it broke 50. And then once we saw that top on a little bit of an exhaustion volume, we then hit it short with our biggest position. So that's why we were able to cover that. And look at this, man, stair step up. Definitely great opportunities to cover, and I'm glad that we did talk a little bit about that. Other than that, man, I mean, it is what it is. So we'll just keep on going. Tisha talking about...
that's my line.
Yeah, exactly. KDLY. Right there. All right, so this is another one that Tisha's looking at here again. Yeah, this is the big one. This is a big one right here. 60 million shares. Right now, this needs to get going above VWAP right there. If we can bounce off of that, that has a great opportunity. And again, like to get back to $3 is like 15%. You can make that right there. That's a good trade if you're able to find that. So good one there on KDLY. I hope you do have that, Tisha, because it does look like a nice runner for you. Apple's still making that move, man, at high a day. I'm going to take a piece out right now and then just let the rest go. I mean, we just keep on stair-stepping it up, taking that profit. Like we said, we're right where we need to be. We're at our daily goal here, but we made that a while ago. Let's see if we can start to add up to it. What's up, Adara?
We're going to take a look here at crypto so far today. And here's Bitcoin basically. Again, we've talked about that struggle with 98.5. That's been a level of resistance out for both Monday and Tuesday. Today, opening below that level here and basically flat in the day despite some pushes above and below. We bounced off 94,000, currently trading around 95.7. And we actually have some Bitcoin-related IPO news. Bloomberg reporting that BitCo, which is basically a cryptocurrency custody firm, is apparently planning on IPOing this year. So Bloomberg reporting a potential BitGo IPO. Some people that are reportedly backing said IPO include Goldman Sachs, and some venture capital firms, including DRW Holdings, Redpoint Ventures, and Valor Equity Partners. Valor Equity Partners is actually, I believe, one of the names involved in that Elon Musk suit as well. So keep an eye here on that BitGo potential IPO. Of course, if we hear anything definite, I'll let you guys know. In terms of these other crypto names as well, that we've got Bitcoin here, according to Binance, currently down about 1.25%. Ethereum down about 2%, trying to hold on to the 2,600 level. XRP and Solana red on the day here. Dogecoin, Cardano also red. So a lot of weakness in some of these major names, but BNB slightly positive here, and looking at one of the few names that is. So a little bit of a weakness across the board for crypto. Back to you.
So before I get to Lyft just came back out to break even, so hold it for either a VWAP break or break even at that point. I took out of over 80% of it, but we're always going to hold on to some on the reversion for the break of the low, and then we think it can really flush. I think AIFF's about to rug. I said this yesterday, and it didn't. It actually ended up holding the bid at $8, but it was really heavy pressure into 8. We're looking for a dip into 7. Kind of thinking the same thing here. We lose VWAP and do one of those capitulation panic candles, holding above $11 would be a good sign. The $10 levels where all that selling was yesterday, so whoever's short at that price, if they haven't been rugged already, certainly I think they'd be trying to take some profit at the 10 level. So if it does lose the bottom here, I'd look for some kind of a snap back to the upside. Going to leave that one up for us. Palantir is going to break 116. Tesla looks like it wants to break 340 as well. But PLTR... 338 right now. But Palantir is going to break 116 before that happens. So Palantir, since we were talking about it, doesn't actually get back into the low for the dip buy, but it is looking like it wants to take out the top. Looking for a 116 break. That order is just where I'm crossed to. It doesn't actually have to get above 10 for me to go long. If it breaks above 116 even, try to get long. I'm only crossing up to 12s.
You'll get that.
Yeah, we've been getting, the thing about Palantir is like you get fills.
You'll get it.
This is not like some other stocks where you got to
Holy.
like 30, 40 cents. Tesla, 338, looks like it wants to take out the top as well. I'll prefer the Palantir break to Tesla, at least for now.
Guys, this Apple is now $350 in the money here. And like, again, we only have 7%, 7.5% left. We're just getting out like 2% every time here. But 234, like that's a pretty decent move considering what the NASDAQ is doing right now. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. The NASDAQ is still down. Like thinking like if the NASDAQ actually rallies, now we just put an offer there and missed it. I just pushed offer enter, it came back in. I pushed it at 234.31. So there it goes, right? Like I was saying, it's not a huge amount of shares, so I'm not sweating the little stuff, right? But I think that Neil just mentioned there, even on Lyft, like, you know, getting out there, you know, just by getting a little bit out, you do wind up saving yourself there. So that kind of sucks to have missed that Apple trade. We did the same thing there on SMCI, kept on getting out on these pops. We just got another piece out there at 50s. So we're just getting lighter and lighter on all these names because, again, heading into the afternoon, we do have some earnings coming out. I can probably go
There's
check.
some more movers again tonight.
Yeah, there's some more movers. Bigger, is it Roku? No, not Roku.
Hood.
A Hood, okay.
Reddit.
It's Coinbase is tomorrow, right?
Coinbase is, Thursday. Yeah, Coinbase is Thursday. Hood, Reddit, there's something else.
Yeah, I was trying to go find
Adair will remember. But those are two of the big ones. I mean, Reddit's a rocket.
I have it on my, here it is. I have it on my Twitter. So yeah, it's right here. It's Cisco. Yeah, so these are some of the ones there tonight. Robinhood, Fastly, Cisco,
Dutch Bros.
AppLovin, yeah, Dutch Bros. AppLovin's a good one too. Trade Desk, the Trade Desk, TTD, right, TTD, and Albemarle there as well. So far so good on all of that. We'll look to see if you guys are here in the recap show. Join Neil and Adara as they will be going over all of that. I got to go pick up my daughter from the batting cages again. But okay, so here we go. Apple starting to fade out a little bit. SMCI is about to go back in. Again, if we break $40, we're just going to get out of SMCI. This is a trade that we have like, I guess, less than 5% left on this one as it's dripped all the way back in. We've been done good to get out of this trade. You know, we can just hold it till that bottom, 39.90. I'm going to now change my stop right into there, so that will still be there. Again, SMCI, despite it coming all the way back down, will still be P&L number 2 today for the show. So 38, 84, sorry, 30, I almost did a mistake there, 39, 84. If we drip below that, we will get stopped out there on the bottom of the day. So far, so good, but here it comes right back in. There goes SMCI. This could be a good reload spot at $40, but again, it's bleeding pretty good in. Remember, these jokers still have not reported since August. So, you know, you're going to have to wait to see, or the report we're waiting for is the August report. So they haven't reported since March of the year. So it's almost 8-10 months right now for SMCI, if I am not mistaken there. So, all right, watch out for SMCI, and let's go over for Adara.
No, let's talk a little bit about the way that you can find some of the best trading opportunities out there. And that's going to be eSignal. Because listen up, traders. The first month is free over at eSignal. That's right, absolutely free. Trade smart and not hard, like we always say. You want an elite trading experience, eSignal is for you. Back testing, forward testing, highly customizable charts, market data that is not only on every single instrument or equity you could imagine, that is reliable. If the market is open, eSignal is going to be good to go. You got the tick replay, so you can go back and look at the tape, look at the level 2 if you want that entitlement to be able to see what was happening in the moment when those stocks get those big levels. Sometimes it happens fast. You want to go back. Did you execute well? eSignal is going to be able to give you that opportunity for sure. So big shout out to them. It's all in one platform, everybody. And like I said, the first month is free. Scan that QR code you see in front of you. Click the link in the description as well. And a big shout out to eSignal. Also wanted to get to, we got a super chat in there. We got a super chat that we didn't acknowledge, and it was from Mad World. Thank you, Mad World. Look at TEM. TEM is on one. I don't know necessarily why it's got the move, but it's a mean reversion when the market reverted as well. So I look at the NASDAQ chart, I look at this chart, they're lockstep, but that is one heck of a move to the upside. My only caution whenever I see something like this the day before is going to be pretty obvious. It broke out from this, 71.6, failed all the way up at 78. I always eyeball that lower high where the selling came back in that took it all the way back. Like if it can't push through here, sometimes you get a little bit of a hiccup at a level like that. So watch out. That 76 level, 75 to 76 on TEM does look like it could be a little bit of a something to watch out for. If you're in the long, you're obviously doing very well. So you can't hate.
All right, we're going to go long Tesla. Tesla just broke 340. We'll see if it dips back into it. I didn't put the bid to take it. We should have. Just wasn't really looking there. We were trying to focus on Apple, which, by the way, Apple just gave us a $3.50 winner right there on Apple. As today, again, will be another big day. We just got long Tesla right there as well. Not a huge day. We are at our daily goal. We had mentioned that, so that's pretty good when you can do that. Wish we were a little bit higher. SMCI, of course, pulled back, and then we're not on that Palantir train, which keeps on going up. Choo-choo, I mean, choo-choo. All right, we are dip buying Tesla, though. If this fades out, breaking through 337, we're going to get out of this. Sorry, 338. Hold on. I just want to tell you where my stop is before we get on this name. Just hold on, I got to scroll this up because I still have stops on Lyft and all that kind of stuff. My stop, yeah, 337 break, so that's right. So 337 break, and we're out on Tesla. Small starter position here at 340. It's just gone parabolic. Let's let it settle down. It's Tesla. What up, Chill Vibes and everybody else out there, man? Yeah, we're still here. We're not going anywhere. Come on, Tesla. My next bid is 338.50. Dara?
Pretty red board, actually. More red, I would say, than the NASDAQ necessarily shows. I think we're down about 0.25% in the NASDAQ, slightly more so in the SPY. But there's very few green spots to find here on this board. Consumer durables, actually, despite this nice push to the upside in Tesla, a bit of a relief rally. A lot of the other names in this sector are red. Health services is another sort of bright spot here. UNH, Agilent, Cigna, all to the upside. Health technology has a little bit of strength here as well. Gilead, day one earnings bump. Lilly and AbbVie also strong. In terms of weakness, I mean, where do you start? Commercial services to the downside, producer manufacturing to the downside, utilities, process industries, transportation, retail, trade, finance, technology services, and electronic technology. I would say technology services, with the exception of Palantir, actually doing a lot worse off here. Oracle down quite significantly here. Workday, Fortinet. Electronic technology is buoyed here by Apple to the upside, but there's still some weakness here. ANET significantly to the downside. Also, just be aware here, we do have, I guess, keep an eye here on DraftKings and PENN, P-E-N-N. Apparently, Kalshi here, according to filings, has filed for new sports event trading contracts after Super Bowl. So keep an eye on any sports betting related names because Kalshi trying to get more into that world here, guys. Back to you.
Yeah. Right. Speaking of sports betting, NCAA tournaments coming up, that's got to be good for them. Not really happy with the Spartans losing a conference game to Indiana and dropping into third place in the Big Ten. You got to win at home versus a losing team in your conference. Michigan State. I like Michigan State. I also feel old.
They still have Mo Pete or no?
Dude, Jason Richardson's son plays on the team.
Okay, yeah.
That's how old we are.
That's old.
Jay Rich, absolutely. He won a dunk off a long time ago. Obviously, if his son's playing. But that's how it,
That's almost when the dunk-offs meant something nowadays.
There's been some good, Zach Levine and Aaron Gordon.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, they were good.
Okay.
No, yeah, that was a while ago. But it's not all the way back to Jay Rich. I'm just saying there's been good ones since. I don't like it as much anymore. The problem is all the best dunkers aren't NBA players. That Jordan Kill, whatever his name is sick. And that's what people want to see. They want to see the best, and the best dunkers are not in the NBA right now.
It's the format of it, too. I mean, these guys can dunk about 20 times, and when they finally get it, they're like, yeah, we got it. It's like it's a joke. The NBA has multiple problems, man.
I like the
that
old
is
days.
For sure. Yeah. Nice to see Luka back. It's just so funny. Like when he's playing on Dallas, he can't get on the court. Problem. He gets traded. They're on the court immediately. Like these guys are just jokers. Like a hockey guy takes a puck in the face, goes back, gets stitches, and is back on the ice literally in 5 minutes. These guys get elbowed in the nose and have a bloody nose. It's probably 10 to 15 days gone for sure. So and plus they have to come back with a mask as well. So don't forget about that one. Or they just say they hurt their back. What up to Joel Embiid and all those guys as the Raptors go in there and embarrass Philly. You guys are playing for a playoff spot?
You see the final play?
No, I was watching a little bit of it.
Well, I just saw the highlight.
No. We only won by 3, right? Or 2?
Embiid basically...
Oh, Embiid's playing?
He was playing.
Okay, well,
you guys can watch the clip if you want. But against the Raptors, they had a chance to win. He had a wide open 3 that he could have just taken the wide open 3 to win the game.
He passed it?
He passed on the 3 to basically drive into a triple team and turn it over.
Okay. Not great.
Like it's crazy because if I ever we had a coach, Abbott would bench you for some nonsense like that.
It has to be some accountability.
No, it's like that's...
I ain't no NBA coach.
That's an easy benching. Rest in peace. Actually, our high school coach passed away a few years back.
Is that it?
No,
yeah, okay, yeah.
No,
all
I
right.
just remember, I was thinking about Abbott and then,
Yeah. Okay, here comes Tesla. Nice move to the upside and then fail. So now we have to wait to see what winds up happening right now with Tesla. Again, our average price is right here, $338.65. We're out $1 on this. Feel pretty comfortable with it. Remember, we didn't want to play the breakout. I thought the pullback in would work. I mean, we might lose this 50-period MA, and when we do, then it's a problem. That is for sure. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening there with Tesla. I'm trying to get a little bit more down here, but it's just, it hasn't really been working out. We talked about where our stop would be, and it's still there. So if that comes through, that's where we'll get stopped out, breaking through 337. Trying to get a little bit more here in the 50s. It seems like it just keeps on bouncing off of us, which kind of would suck if we missed it because we wouldn't mind a better price right now. But at the same, there it is, so we got it. But at the same time, we just add to the problem, it looks like, as Tesla right now not being able to find a bid at all. That 50-period moving average is actually, I got to change it. It's not at 337. We're okay. We will, it'll turn out to be our most negative stock, obviously. We don't have another one on board. We had the TQQs. We talked about that not really getting hit too much. There's only 15 minutes left until the big show happens. But yeah, we're going to have to deal with this. I'm going to now put my stop. I just noticed it's 336.50, so that's my bad. So I'm going to put it down there. And again, not really. Okay, well, Tesla's going to break now. I mean, the futures aren't doing anything. There it goes to the downside. Generally speaking, it's a bad feeling when it just whoops down, but this is even kind of worse because there's been no relief at all. I mean, look at me just buying these dips, and this is why share size is pretty important. Just buying the dips here right into this level. So there it goes. It's going to break, obviously.
I'm buying Palantir 115.
Yeah, so the market, some of these names coming back. Go ahead, yeah.
Palantir failed the 116 break, and it's coming back into 115.
Really?
Now, the higher low, okay, so the support on the bull flag was 114.5. But the higher low was at 115. So previously, that would have been your bull flag. There's your fail break. Now looking for that 115 level. All right, Rigetti, I didn't even pay for locates on this thing, but Rigetti's up 7% and continuing to go. I'd love to join that party, but it's too far gone. I said if Lyft took out the top, I'd look for longs in Uber. Well, the Lyft reversion worked, but then it went back up. Uber has gone green on the day. So this is one, if we hold higher lows, I want to be involved in Uber, not Lyft, to the long side. So as long as you're above, this is on Lyft earnings. The actual low yesterday was 76.6. As long as you're above that, want to look to buy the dip there as well. But Palantir coming into that 115 as we speak. I think that's going to be, feels like that's going to be the next execution for me. Vecna. Thank you for the super chat. There it is. D-Wave. QBTS. Cubist. Haven't looked at that in a hot minute. Actually, probably looked at it yesterday. I like Rigetti better, but the quantum names are back. They are all running. This one is pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same look as Rigetti. I'm only checking myself because I have a resistance line drawn here, and it's trending up. If I'd paid for locates, man, this is... When I have a resistance line and it's literally top wicking through that line, the first instinct is just short it right now, Neil. No. I would have had this drawn for a couple of days ago, and these are on one. So yeah, it's at a resistance at just underneath the $6 level, but I'm not going to trade it. We'll stick to trying to buy the dip here on Palantir, looking to join Uber if we can. Maybe we get a VWAP retracement on Alibaba. Like Baba, this is what happened when it broke VWAP. It ran away from VWAP when I was trying to get back into it. There was no real higher low until it got to the high of the day, which is not what I was looking for. But if it's going to continue stair-step up, we'll go back into Baba. Up 4.5% Alibaba. The quantum names are moving, so shout out to you. Vecna or Vesna? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Let me know in the chat if one of those two is right.
The BBAI right now is $9. Lazy by me. We should have had an order out for this one to get long. We really like Big Bear AI. We talked. I like it in my own account, not just to sit here and trade it today. I really like this account, this name. So yeah, too bad. A little sloppy on that one. That is for sure. All right, what's up, Adara with Money Talks?
Before we get to Money Talks, actually news, if you trade Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, keep an eye on those because they were actually just mentioned here. We had Fed Chair Powell saying that privatizing them could lead to, quote, other virtues, but it would lead to higher mortgage rates. So keep an eye on FNMA and Freddie Mac as well there. With regards to the US dollar, I have the 15-minute chart because I think this push up and down is pretty interesting. We had this big rally. This would be 8:30 a.m. when we got the drop in the market with higher than expected core CPI. As Brendan mentioned, if we had gotten the expected 3.1% core CPI, that'd be our lowest rating in multiple years. Unfortunately, instead, we get 3.3% versus the 3.1% expected and also above the 3.2% prior. That being said, like slightly higher than expected month-over-month print as well. CPI on a monthly and yearly basis also a little bit higher than expected, but that core print was really key here. We have had some Fed speakers saying that they're looking more closely at core inflation now than some of these other numbers. So that may be a little bit of a blow here for the market. And then we had the US dollar, of course, giving up pretty much all of this move as we have comments from Fed Chair Powell being digested. But be aware here, quite the volatility in the DXY today. Also here, it's worth noting, as of this morning, 97.5% of participants are expecting no rate change at the next Fed meeting, which would take place here on March 19th, 2025. It's a pretty stark change here from 1 month ago, January 10th, when about 75.5% of participants were expecting no cut. It's even more than yesterday. We had 95% of participants expecting no cut. So slowly but surely over time, we have more and more participants in the market expecting that we're going to be having zero rate change as of right now. We're going to have to wait and see how things unfold, but it's certainly worth noting there's becoming a lot of hawkishness here in this market with regards to when we will get that next rate cut. Back to you.
So thank you, everybody, for correcting me. In my defense, I was always more of a science fiction nerd than a fantasy nerd. Vecna from Dungeons & Dragons. I wasn't a Dungeons & Dragons guy. Like, I love sci-fi way more than the fantasy stuff. So shout out to Vecna in the chat there. Wow. I'll get to AIF Firefly, which, okay, that's timely. Firefly Neuroscience, revolutionizing brain health.
Yeah.
Unleash the power of objective AI-driven brain health assessments with brain network analytics. as I was just about to talk about it. No, but Palantir first bouncing off 115. So Palantir kind of trended down. It just made a bounce off 15s to get to the $0.50 and now looking like it wants to work back in. So if it breaks this higher low at 114.80, I'm going to jump out. For the second time in 2 days, I was pretty convinced that we were going to get a flush through support on Firefly. Instead, it's a bounce and reversion trade. So it doesn't, like, it looked like it's going to flat bottom break. It doesn't do it. You're still going to end up holding on to the trend and going higher here on Firefly. So it looks strong. It's above VWAP. Maybe I'll have to look for some kind of a VWAP entry as it's starting to respect it. Alibaba, we're still sitting on the bid, but that's now, all right, it's now $2 away from my bid, so I'm going to cancel it. If it's $2 away, then if it falls in, I'm not going to just want to be sitting there on Alibaba. It's breaking out the highs. Got to look to the prior high as a potential support level to play off here on Alibaba. We're still wanting to get back into long, up 5% Alibaba. Don't get too far away from this, because with Chinese ADRs, you do want to make that your next trade before you get to like 1, 2 o'clock when things tend to slow down. So it's one that you kind of want during lunchtime if you can grab it, because the last salvo for any real volatility is usually 1:30, 2 o'clock. You'll start to see those Chinese ADRs barcode a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a very, very good point, actually. You don't move too much in the afternoon, so I do like that one. Shout out to George. What's up, George? Right here, $20. Been watching you guys since 2020. Thank you. One of the OGs, it seems like there. Haven't missed one show since then.
That's impressive.
That's all right, but I think you should have missed a couple shows. Since that we do appreciate your, I was gonna say, get some fresh air there, George. But no, of course, thank you so much for all of that. We're just playing around. Much love and respect to all of you. Green Day today, blessings. Thoughts on Mara. So, okay, I'll have a quick look for you on Mara. I'm just trying to watch out for this Tesla trade. I did want to bring up Lyft, everyone. There, we just got some out, but it was pretty much barcoding right there on Lyft. So I just want to bring out that we are going to get some more bids here at low 30s to see if we're able to get some out. Come on. You can see my average price there on Tesla. It's starting to go. It's back to flat now on that trade. Mara, okay, M-A-R-A. Right now, I'm just glad you're green today. That's a great opportunity there. Okay, so thoughts on Mara. So my thoughts aren't very positive on this name, and I think I've sort of mentioned this before. Like, why is it not going, right? Like, crypto's not having this move down right now like Mara is. Mara's looking to break this shelf. So if crypto does break, we talked about 94 to 92,000. That next level is 88,000. And that will probably bring Mara into like 13 or 14, where I think there is, come on, Tesla, where I do think there is an eventual buy down there. So I like those levels down there for Tesla, so for Mara, but you gotta wait. I'm watching Tesla right now, but yeah. So I like those levels, and I think that's a buy for right now. You could see as Meta's having 16, 17 straight days. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11. This is like 5, 10 straight down days for Mara. So you gotta be very, very careful with that one. Look, man, Tesla's going to make a bad taste in my mouth here today, because if it breaks, man, we'll be back to flat on the day P&L wise. So that's why I was saying good job over there for you guys being green. We put a little bit here on Tesla. So look, we're green today right now, but we have to wait to see what winds up happening with this Tesla trade right now. So far so good on holding, but it could drip down again for us right there. So yeah, that's how my day is going, and that's that for me. So yeah, we'll just keep on trucking along here and see if Tesla wants to go. It just tried to get above that 338. I mean, if we can get above that, then as we said, man, our day is still here. It's going to be a good one. But yeah, with only 5 minutes to go, not too bad there at all today. We'll have to wait to see. Again, we'll raise up the trophy, but it's going to be position pending here on Tesla. No idea. Congratulations, Obi in the back has had a big day, so that's a good one there. And yeah, Neil's there to talk to you about his day or whatever he wants. So here we go. Go up, Tesla. Finally starting to break.
Yeah, get to the upside, please, because Palantir's. We failed 115.5. It bounced off 115, topping tail candle a little bit here. I was able to take some out. I got to respect the fact that you've had a rejection of the even dollar breakout, a possible head and shoulders. So we're going to keep reloading this one at the 115 level. If you hear some noises, they're snaking the pipes up there. That's just what that noise was a couple of seconds ago. It's not really that bad. AIF, we're still looking VWAP. If it puts in a higher low off 1250, I don't mind playing this one on some kind of a higher low. This one looks like it wants to go to the upside. There was just a halt, but I didn't catch the ticker. So it's going to be Palantir in AIF potentially. I want to reload Palantir at the 115 level. Alibaba, not going to chase it. If it barcodes from here, you know, there's not much you can do on Alibaba. Completely sideways action. If this is all that if it's going to do this for the afternoon, sometimes the Chinese ADRs are just done. If it's got one more pullback in it, that's the dip I want to get into VWAP. It just might not get to VWAP. I might have to look at like 17.5 or something. Wherever it decides to dip from is what I want to grab, like any kind of bounce reversion play. So Palantir back into the highs, looks like it is going to work. Get out from 16 not working and get back in on the dip at 15 and now ride it back into the highs there on PLTR. And one last one, we only have 2 minutes to go here. As Lyft came out, we sort of talked about this, Lyft back at the highs. So I got out at break even. Uber, which we like, much stronger, right? So
Tesla.
Lyft, same highs, Uber making higher lows. So this is one that we want to try to get the next available dip on. I think the status quo of Uber being stronger than Lyft is just reflecting itself in here today.
Much greater than Day's goal right now. There goes Tesla, man. Neil, this is an absolute monster right now. We really layered into this trade. Oh, that's still TQs. This Tesla trade. Oh boy, what a hold off the 50-period moving average. Whew. So we almost went red today. But we do not, so we'll hit the siren right here. There, 340. Let's get another piece out right here at 340. This is now $2. Neil, we've gone $4 in the money on Apple right now. We are $6 in the money right now and having ourselves a day. Look what Apple's done. Apple right now, we are long at 231. It is 235. There goes Apple, huge move to the upside. Tesla's still that $2 in the money. This has just been, I mean, that Tesla was almost a problem. We talked about that, but oh boy, did we do it again right there. So 340 coming and going right there. Look, man, let's do it right now. We've done this before, because Apple's been such a monster. I'm just going to search Apple right here. AAPL, APPLE. If you're green today, put a green apple in there. Okay. If you're red today, put a red apple in there. As we only have 1 minute left to go, let's see what the chat is doing. Hey, man, look, if you're red, you're red. That doesn't matter. Let's just see what the chat is up to here today. I have a feeling they're going to be very green there today, Neil. So let's wait to see what winds up happening on that. It's been a monster day again, we'll just talk about Tesla for now. We talked about how lucky we were to get out of that trade for where it is. So if this continues to go, oh boy, we're going to go to the gym, Sharif. We're going to pump some iron today. We'll go do that during the midday. And then we'll come back with just as much energy and possibly more. And bang! More times to trade. More winners alert, Neil. There it is, man. Neil, we sit here. We're $7 in the money. So great trade there on Palantir.
I'm out. I took the dollar. It failed the high of the day, by the way,
nice.
Guys.
So
just very quickly. Palantir double top 116. It failed to break the first time out. One in. It gave the bounce we wanted, but the tape was distinctly different just now. It failed at 116 level. I think I still want to look for dip buys, but that was a harsh move. It just pulled back 50 cents very, very quickly on Palantir. So I got to take the money and run on that bad boy. You know what time it is, everybody. We'll be back at 2. We got lots of earnings aftermarket. We've got the Bash Brothers, the push-up challenge that doesn't seem to want to happen, and the Playmaker trade as well.
We're going to the gym.
Well,
we're about to deal
when's the actual date?
We're about to deal with.
When's the date? You gotta set a date. It's up to you guys to set a date. I want to see his push-up challenge. My money's on Sharif. I've already said that. I think Sharif is gonna absolutely wax him. Let's go midday. Kill him with kindness.
That's my word.
You stole mine.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to